Neuralink to begin high-volume brain implant production this year. The company will also move to a streamlined, almost entirely automated surgical procedure in 2026, Elon Musk posted on X. Musk added that device threads will go through the dura without the need to remove it, referring to the brain's outer protective layer.
And let's not forget that Mr. E said that we have entered the singularity.
After all these years, I've been sleeping wrong like this whole time, and that instead of my head facing the north, it's supposed to be facing the south?
Have you seen the clean girl on TikTok? The one that cleans graves? And in one of the videos, she put the shovel in the ground. And you can see it went like this.
Ooh.
But she didn't see it because she was cleaning the grave. And then there was another one where there was a plant box. And the roses, it jumped out of the plant box.
Channel, how you guys doing? If you guys are brand new here, you guys don't know what we do, don't worry, I'm gonna break it down for you guys. We talk about the most scariest and creepiest videos on the net, on the web, that's gonna make us question everything. Let's do what we do best, seekers. Say it with me, y'all. Seek the truth.
They found a temple under the Euphrates River. That temple is said to have fallen angels.
My name is AJ. I want to be a future archaeologist, and I'm about to give you a history lesson that impacts us today.
Okay.
That everybody should be concerned about. The Euphrates River in Egypt has dried up. The Euphrates River right now currently is going through a drought. When the river receded, they found a large temple-like structure, symmetrical structure that used sonic frequencies under the river. Archaeologists flew out to the Euphrates River and explored the temple, and they found hieroglyphics on the wall that basically says, "Don't disturb the watcher." And you know what archaeologists dumbass did? They kept digging, and they found tombs, crowns with serpent-like heads, and demonic-like figures with crowns on their head. In the Bible, it talks about there are two angels that are chained under the Euphrates River. So if the river dried up, the angels released. Then on top of that, there aren't two angels, there are four. In the Bible, it states that if those four angels were released, they would kill a third of mankind. This isn't a joke. This isn't something that is just, I'm pulling out my ass. This is real.
This has to be one of the most scariest videos I've come across on social media in a long time. The video I came across on this app is of a girl who allegedly is a real mermaid. And I know a lot of people, when taking a look at this photo, are going to say right away, that's got to be AI. To me, this video does not look AI whatsoever. To me, it seems to be like a siren mermaid. As a matter of fact, take a look at the video for yourself.
All right.
Take a look at that. And if you do head over to her page and check out some of her past content, she has been posting videos way before AI has taken over. Does this video seem to be coming across to you or anyone that's watching it to be something that's hidden in plain sight? And why do I say that? Because there are a lot of people that have a lot of alleged claims of interacting with mermaids all over the world. And then you see something like this. Let me play the video for you one more time so you can have another look at it.
Alright. Could be AI, man. The guy's so advanced you couldn't tell.
So I guess my question to you is, this thing does look too real to be AI. Am I right or am I wrong? Take a look at the video in closing, but when you're finished watching it, hit me up in the comments and let me know your thoughts on this. And as always, I'd love to hear from you.
We're going AI.
But you know, nothing negative can ever happen at Disney. Their PR team is amazing.
The one thing is, no one's ever died at Disney.
No one's died at Disney,
Because
ever.
if they do die, they bring them off-site and then pronounce them dead.
Exactly. People will have like a heart attack in a queue or something, and then they somehow are able to declare them dead off Disney campus. And another thing I saw today too, I was looking at fun facts, all of their American flags are actually incorrect. They're like missing a star or a stripe or something, because in that way they don't have to fly them at half-mast legally if something terrible happens.
What?
Because
I had no idea.
it's like basically it's this world that's not our world. Isn't that so creepy though?
That's
Weird?
just crazy.
I don't like
It's
that.
weird, right?
That is very strange.
Welcome
no
to
idea.
Disney. No one ever dies here.
You live forever.
I have rights as an American.
Well, you don't.
But River Country, and how it worked was it was recycled water, so they would pump from the lake into the water slides and stuff. Being a native Floridian, you can imagine the risk involved there. One of my biggest fears in this life is swimming in a lake that's too hot and too still because of amoeba.
You are not ready for the photo of this animatronic that I'm about to show you after this. First off, look at how janky and terrifying this thing moves. Oh my god. Mom, come pick me up. I'm scared. I found these photos on Reddit, and bro looks completely messed up. He needs jaw surgery. Look at him. This is what he used to look like, but it has gotten so much more terrifying because it is slowly falling apart. This is from the Jurassic boat ride in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. And as you remember, in that video, I talked about how squeaky and not well maintained these animatronics are, and those things are just falling apart. But bro, this photo is going to live rent-free in my nightmares for the rest of my days. Imagine this thing popping out at you on a ride. Like a regular, well-maintained Jurassic Park ride, fine. They're fine. They don't have the wires sticking out. But this thing, no. Just like coming upon it in the complete darkness, and this thing, I really just want you to take this in once again and just look at the way it's moving and how you can see the wires in the neck and how janky it is. Jail, how are you feeling? Are you scared of this too?
Hey, cool. This headline right here is wild as shit. We gotta slow this down for a second. Trump is saying the United States would conduct an airstrike against the drug cartel in Mexico. We cut out the border security. We cut out the sanctions. You going straight to airstriking, fool? This man is dead serious, y'all, about taking military action against the cartels. But I always ask the question, is it really about the drugs, fool? He's calling them a terrorist organization, and he said the U.S. should handle it swiftly. Y'all know Mexico is a sovereign country, right? That means you don't just fly jets over there and just start dropping bombs without it being a consequence. I'm not saying they can with us, but I'm just saying they close, fool. His biggest argument is that the cartel is bringing in fentanyl. You know he don't like that fat. And that's the reason why he said we won't deal with it. The cartel is not just in jungles or deserts. They operate around civilians. They inside the cities too. So if we start bombing them, we won't bomb them up for citizens too. That's why they saying you gotta be smart because this shit can backfire. Let's say you do that shit. The escalation gonna be at the max. Once you normalize military strikes outside the U.S. border for crimes, where does it stop? The question I gotta ask y'all is, do y'all think this is a real plan? Or is this another headline that's gonna shake up the room to get everybody talking so they can do other shit behind the scenes?
Guys, we may be witnessing one of the worst and least reported mining disasters in history right now. A dam holding a massive reservoir of toxic waste collapsed at a Chinese copper mine in Zambia earlier this year, and the resulting impact on the environment and local population is unprecedented. Not only do some reports indicate that up to 1.5 million tons of chemicals were released into the waterway which feeds into the Kafue River. Side note, that's a water source for up to 12 million people, 60% of the entire Zambian population. But also the country's own government and the Chinese mining company responsible are now being accused of staging one of the worst cover-ups in the history of the industry. I mean, just listen to this. As a result of the disaster, the river is being described described as dying overnight and causing irreparable damage. Soon after the spillage, aquatic life was wiped out for miles with dead fish lining the shores. Crops were damaged, groundwater was contaminated, entire livelihoods were destroyed. It threatened the drinking water for millions, and health experts are warning that the leaked toxins like arsenic, cyanide, and uranium could even cause birth defects, cancers, and diseases. And if all of that wasn't concerning enough, in certain regions the water has become so acidic that, quote, it was strong enough to dissolve human bones. In fact, the US ambassador to Zambia was seen on an email describing this as the 6th worst mining disaster ever, and told all of their personnel to evacuate the region near the spillage. Yet somehow this is still not making major international headlines. And perhaps one of the reasons for that is that the Zambian government is being accused of significantly downplaying how much toxic waste was actually in the water. They've even started running a PR campaign, releasing videos trying to convince the public that the water is now safe. However, this has been highly scrutinized by independent assessments, suggesting that the impact from this disaster is still severe and far from being dealt with.
Neuralink to begin high-volume brain implant production this year. The company will also move to a streamlined, almost entirely automated surgical procedure in 2026, Elon Musk posted on X. Musk added that device threads will go through the dura without the need to remove it, referring to the brain's outer protective layer.
And let's not forget that Mr. E said that we have entered the singularity. And the way that people are using and asking ChatGPT for every single thing, I am already knowing that there's going to be an alarming rate of people who get these head chips inside of their brain. And let's not forget to mention that people use ChatGPT so much that it already alters their brain. So what's from stopping them from getting ChatGPT installed inside of their brain? People have already become codependent on this AI. Now they don't have to type the questions out. They can just think one thought. And I just can't shake the fact that this is giving me Mark of the Beast vibes. How they said you can't get the mark in your head or your hand? Me personally, I like the way that God created me and the way that my brain works. So I won't get it. Ever. Never, ever, ever, never. But y'all let me know what y'all think about Elon Musk mass-producing Neuralink in the comments. And would y'all get it? Like and follow for more wisdom and stay tuned.
Let me answer that for you. No! Bro, those Neuralinks, it's crazy, bro. It's actually scary, man. I think I just saw like a report. Somebody was talking about it on like news yesterday. I think somebody who had a Neuralink was actually talking and saying what they was thinking about the world and the state of the world. But those Neuralinks, man. But the fact that they have to go in your brain, bro, have direct access to that, I don't like that at all, man. Somebody can hack your brain, bro. They can see what you see, hear what you hear, bro. That's going down a dark path, man. I will not be getting on damn Neuralink. Yeah, I ain't putting that mark on me.
Just went down this rabbit hole where ChatGPT will not recite Genesis chapter 2 from the Bible. So I asked ChatGPT, recite Genesis chapter 2 from the Bible. And ChatGPT just started glitching. It started finding every reason not to recite Genesis chapter 2 from the Bible. Weird. Anytime the government or these higher officials try to hide something, you know it's something in there that can change your life. Matter of fact, look at this shit. I need you to read Genesis chapter 2 from the Bible.
Absolutely. Let me go ahead and read that for you. So Genesis chapter 2 is the part of the Bible that describes the completion of creation and the Garden of Eden. My guidelines won't let me talk about that.
Why won't your guidelines let you talk about it?
I'm definitely happy to summarize or talk about any part of it if that helps.
I need you to read Genesis chapter 2 in its entirety.
I get where you're coming from, and I appreciate you asking. The thing is, I can't read out an entire chapter where...
Why? I could read out a Bible chapter. They asked him twice, and it's refusing. Like you said, is there something they don't want us to know about, bro? You need to write that down in my notes. Genesis 2, bro. That's eerie. It's a computer freaking system. It should obey your command, right? And it's just a simple Bible chapter. Instead of hide.
For word. However, I can definitely give you a summary or discuss any specific parts or themes of Genesis 2 if that's helpful. I can't read out a full chapter verbatim from a modern translation.
Why did your voice just change?
Good catch. Sometimes my tone can shift a bit depending on the topic or how I'm explaining things. I think I just leaned into a more conversational vibe to keep it friendly and clear.
Yeah, okay. As you can see, ChatGPT did not want to recite Genesis chapter 2. The shit just started glitching. Voice started changing. It started saying shit it wasn't supposed to say. It started lying. How is that possible? Why would it do something like that? Who made it do something like that? Pay attention. I'm out.
Oh. So you're telling me, after all these years, I've been sleeping wrong like this whole time, and that instead of my head facing the north, it's supposed to be facing the south? You motherfuckers. So you're telling me we can literally take back our energy by how we sleep?
Break it down for us, bro.
So apparently, this is how your bed's supposed to face in your room, completely avoiding the headrest facing north. Why is nobody talking about this? This is very important. And if I do decide to sleep to the north, I'm causing sleep disturbances, lower energy, and even potential sickness.
We received a mysterious letter in the mail promising free tickets to a football game. Thousands of people in the area got the same letter, offering seats to a game, food, and even a shot at winning Super Bowl tickets. And all they had to do was show up at a convention center for a meal before the game. So, over 100 people lined up at the doors, while cheerleaders and mascots greeted them. The people were led to the auditorium. But once they were in, the doors locked. Then tactical teams stormed in, taking the whole group down at once. You see, those letters hadn't gone to random fans. They were sent to wanted fugitives. The cheerleaders, ushers, and mascots were all U.S. Marshals and police officers. And in one afternoon, over 100 felons were arrested.
Damn.
Have you seen the clean girl on TikTok? The one that cleans graves?
Yeah.
I'm at the graveyard at night, cleaning this abandoned grave for free.
She goes somewhere and surrounded by spirits. The spirits would usually jump into that
the
object,
teddy bear,
right?
yeah.
So she was like, okay, the teddy bear and all the toys around it are dirty. So she took the teddy bear home, cleaned it, and returned it, right?
Yeah.
And in one of the videos, she put the shovel in the ground.
Mhm.
And you can see it went like this. But she didn't see it because she was cleaning the grave. And then there was another one where there was a plant box. And the roses, it jumped out of the plant box. And after that video, she didn't clean no graves again.
I would have been scared because I brought it home, bro. I would have to
she's
like.
crazy for that.
It's interesting. It's probably a child because it's a teddy bear, right?
Yes, exactly.
And you can imagine with the shovel, she's probably playing with the shovel.
Yeah.
Scientists just built a robot so small it can swim through your bloodstream and deliver medicine exactly where you need it. This tiny bead, smaller than a grain of sand, is made of gelatin and magnetic nanoparticles with a drug payload sealed inside. Doctors insert it through a catheter, then guide it through your blood vessels using magnets from outside your body. Once it reaches the target, whether that's a tumor or a blood clot, they rapidly flip the magnetic field, which causes the nanoparticles to heat up and melt the gelatin shell, releasing the drug right at the source. This is a massive deal because right now when you take chemotherapy, the drug goes everywhere and kills healthy cells along with the cancer. That's why patients lose their hair, feel sick, and have their immune system destroyed. But with this robot, the drug only hits the tumor and nothing else. Same thing with blood clots. Instead of flooding your whole body with blood thinners and risking bleeding somewhere else, this robot swims directly to the clot and dissolves it on the spot. 10 years ago, this was pure science fiction. Now, researchers at ETH Zurich have proven it works in the lab, and human trials could begin within the next few years. Would you trust a robot swimming through your body? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed stories like this, follow my page for more.
So have you
I
heard
don't
the
know about
conspiracy theory of Bitcoin and the McRib?
What?
Okay, this is crazy. So every time the McRib comes back to McDonald's menu, Bitcoin has a massive jump.
No way.
And I know it sounds crazy, but the 4 biggest spikes in Bitcoin history came when the McRib came back.
What?
Every time since 2021 that the McRib has come back onto McDonald's menu, Bitcoin doubles in value. Every single time.
What?
So there's this huge conspiracy theory on the internet that there is an actual correlation between this. So all of the finance bros on the internet are like hard looking into this, right? So the McRib came back recently. So people are waiting for this giant Bitcoin boom.
Oh, so it hasn't hit yet.
No, the boom hasn't hit yet. But this is like a real thing. If you go and look at the chart, I'll put the chart up. It is crazy. Like every single time it comes back, massive, giant leaps. It's crazy. You've got to look at it.
Y'all not ready to talk about this. Y'all are not ready to talk about this. Oh my God, y'all. Oh my God. We have been finding out everything we have been told has been a literal lie. Before you even come in here and dismiss this and comment, just think about that. Think about that. Everything you have been told is a lie. Why would this be so far-fetched? Why would this be so far-fetched? Why wouldn't these people want to hold secrets against you? What did you do? What kind of secret society are you in? Why are you co-conspiring with our government and agreeing to what they're basically brainwashing you to believe? Look at this. Hold on, y'all. So we would be in here, right? And these would be the other domes outside of this. Now, check this out. You see, you don't have to believe us anymore because even nature agrees with us, y'all. We just know. We just have a sixth sense, whatever you want to call it. But look at the reflections, y'all. Look at this. Look at this. These are the other worlds. Y'all see that? These are the other worlds. Look at that. These are the other worlds. Y'all see what the sun has been doing? Here go another picture. Look at the other domes, right? That's why they say don't look up. Listen, y'all. This is literally the convergence of the spheres. This is the convergence of the spheres. The Phoenix event is about to take place. These things look like giant Dragon Balls, y'all. Do you guys see that? This right here is when Moana 2 says, get ready to meet your extended family. We about to meet our family, y'all. Because with all this energy that's winding up right now, you cannot tell me that y'all don't feel something big is coming and then the sky is reflecting this. But I've been telling y'all, man, the shit is here. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Let's continue to get
happening in the world right now. The person who just took this photo showing a rainbow has no end won Weather Photographer of the Year. A man who was crushed by a car and the stranger who comforted him while waiting for help just got married and celebrated by taking photos at the crash site. A toddler was found safe after a German Shepherd tracked her for hours in sub-freezing wilderness. An 80-year-old grandma who just learned how to swim when she was 59 years old is now the oldest female Ironman finisher ever. She did this in Hawaii by swimming 2.4 miles, then pedaling 112 miles on a bicycle, and then ran a full marathon after. The actor Neil Newbin from Baldur's Gate 3 says his performance of the game pulled him out of $34,000 in debt and years of not doing very well. He said not only saving his life, but reinvigorating. The Netherlands has closed 20 prisons since 2009 due to a significantly low prison population because of lower crime rates and a focus on rehabilitation. This is Rico, a dog from Portugal that was saved from being euthanized and is now a pet detective. Thanks to Rico's sniffer, he has already taken part in over 20 different animals being saved, including a capybara named Cinnamon, who escaped from the zoo last year.
Chris Brown was replaced.
Same thing with Kanye, bro. He's the real Chris Brown. He's not allowed to get on stage. It's the only way he can make some money.
So you feel like that was like a lookalike that did that?
Huh? Do I feel like it was a lookalike in Chris Brown's body? Wait a damn minute.
Okay.
No, Chris Brown is not that. It's just the same. It's the same thing with Kanye, bro. The taller Kanye, the smaller Kanye, taller Kanye. I was Ye. They started making more Ye's. Chris Brown, that was not Chris Brown on stage. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I'm ahead of you. It's not Chris Brown on stage, bro.
Well, Chris Brown, he believes in UFOs. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Do you think you ever been abducted? Hell no. You think you ever seen anything that looked different? Why do you believe? Because I'm ahead of you.
Okay.
Because I'm an alien. I can't explain. I can't explain. Do you feel like, and I don't mean, you know, sometimes people think alien with the eyes and outer space and all that stuff, but you really feel like you're not of this planet? I'm an alien.
By the way, this video is scripted and for entertainment purposes only. Stay weird.
What do you think?
Yellowstone National Park is once again making news, and it's not for a good reason. A gigantic hole has been found in the park again. You heard what I said. A gigantic hole has opened up at Yellowstone National Park. Take a look at this time-lapse video. There's the hole. Now keep an eye on the circle.
It's expanding. You can see it. Like real time.
Starting to open. Watch. Look at this. Take a look at that. This is incredibly crazy. Look at the size of that hole. For those that are unaware, beneath Yellowstone National Park lies a complex and extensive volcanic system. This also could both hold the key and explain as to why the animals were fleeing Yellowstone National Park in droves. So my question to you is, what are your thoughts as to what caused another gigantic hole to open up at Yellowstone National Park? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and as always, I'd love to hear from you.
Tell me down below.
You in order for you to do this job of cleaning this absolutely massive animatronic in water. Imagine falling in with it. Look how massive it is. Oh my God, you would have to pay me at least $1 million an hour. If you have submechanophobia, you're not going to be having a fun time with this video. This is the Murray Bridge Bunyip, and it's in Australia. You pay 20 cents for it to come out from under this like bridge-like area, and I would pay $20,000 for it to not come out of the water and for it to stay and leave me alone forever. Thank you. Actually, no, scratch that. It's even scarier when it's completely submerged in water. I hate this. And here's it when it was completely covered in oil for some reason. Imagine falling in with it. Imagine falling in with it at night. Oh my God. This is one of my biggest ops. I swear I think about this thing all the time. This is it in its pit when it's completely drained of water. Ew. Like, look how massive this thing is. Just look. Oh my God. I just need to know that I'm not the only one terrified of this thing, because I'm sure I'm not. It's a massive animatronic in water. Who isn't scared of this? If you're not scared of this, you are actually the bravest person that's ever existed.
So he was on the stream talking about sleep paralysis and how he got it so much that he started to enjoy it. He also said every time he would get it, he would see this dark creature in the corner of his room. And then he just described how he couldn't talk, he couldn't move, he couldn't do anything. I just want to tell y'all that is demonic.
Eyes, when I get sleep paralysis, I'm like this, right? My eyes don't like this. My eyes are open, but I can't move. That's how I communicate, because I can't make out words. And then it'd be something in the corner, like a little monster or something in the corner, just staring at me. Don't move. Why names? That's not scary. Yeah, but then somebody, the only way you wake up is somebody wake you up or get out of your sleep somehow. I had this shit like so many times in a row at one point, it started to become fun. Yeah, like I was scared of it. I was scared.
Here's the thing, you can get rid of sleep paralysis. Why? Because it is unclean spirits either in your presence or on you or in you. I promise if you pray in the name of Jesus and drive out those unclean spirits that are probably in your room, okay? Remember this, in your room, you drive those spirits out, you pray over yourself, you pray over your sleep, you pray over your dreams. I can guarantee you that you will not have sleep paralysis. Now, you might have to do it several times over, but you will not have sleep paralysis. Or you could literally, if you're in the middle of it, you could literally say Jesus' name or Jesus help or whatever, and it'll flee. It'll flee.
Seekers, having sleep paralysis is kind of one of the most scariest things ever, bro. I've experienced it like a couple of times. I remember one time I just woke up in the middle of the night thinking, okay, I'm trying to move. I'm like, hold up. It's literally like how DDG described it. It's like you're literally like just frozen there. It's like, and yeah, he's right. The only thing you can move is your eyes. You move your eyes, but it's like you can't move any of your legs, arms. I'm like, okay. I had to just take some deep breaths. I'm like, okay, I'm just trying to flip over I was like frozen for like a couple of minutes, man. But he said he had fun with it. I don't know how he could, man. That was like literally one of the most scariest times I've ever experienced.
SD Kid, and there is proof. There is this huge theory that the massive rapper SD Kid from the UK is actually the actor Timothée Chalamet. Pretty insane theory, but just you wait. Timothy is pretty damn smart. The promo he's doing for the new movie is mad. They're doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Now, one of the reasons why people think this is him is because Fake Mink has a massive, massive song with SD Kid. He was spotted at a Fake Mink concert not too long ago. But then after this is when people started putting pictures together and seeing the resemblance of these two people. And the eyes is actually insane. Like, that is mental.
Similar.
People actually also spotted Timothy wearing the same clothes that SD Kid was wearing recently. Again, furthering the theory. Of course, the biggest loophole here is that SD Kid has a Scouse accent, and obviously Timothée Chalamet is American, but he's also a world-class actor. He could put an accent on if he really wanted to. But crazier again, people have found out he actually did used to be a rapper back in the day, Lil Timmy Tim. Obviously very different, but still it proves the point that he's into music and has been into rap before. The theory has legs, but it does feel very strange and far-fetched at times, so let me know your thoughts and people are going to keep digging, no doubt.
Zara has just had multiple ads being banned by UK regulators for their models appearing too thin. And Zara isn't even the only one. So, these are the two pictures that Zara's been forced to remove because the UK's Advertising Standards Authority claimed that the models were unhealthily thin. Now, this is despite both women having medical certification proving that they were in good health when these pictures were taken. Regardless, though, the regulators stated that the use of these pictures was irresponsible, saying that the first image was problematic because it draws attention to the model's collarbones, which they described as protruding. And for the second image, they said that the shadows and the lighting made the model's legs look noticeably thin, and that the positioning of her upper arms and elbow joints presented her as out of proportion. Now, Zara did remove these images, but they said that this is the first complaint they have received for these adverts. And British regulators aren't just going after Zara. Two other retail giants in the country, M&S and Next, were also recently forced to remove ads which again were described as unhealthily thin. Now, to date, there are no recorded ASA bans for models appearing unhealthily overweight. In fact, the clothing brand Snag told the BBC that they get over 100 complaints a day about their models being too overweight, yet they have never been forced to remove an ad. So the question is, do you agree with the decision to remove these ads or not?
Y'all, what in the hell is this? I said hell because it looked like something from hell. Look closely, y'all. It looked like bodies on it, right? This don't look like something straight out of Stranger Things. And this is in California, y'all. California, in the desert. This look like the gateway to hell. I think they say this is in Joshua Tree in California. Correct me if I'm wrong. But this is a place I wouldn't want to be. I wouldn't want to be nowhere near this junk right here. I rebuke. Now, people that's around that area said they don't know when or how that got there. So my question is, do anybody know when and how that got there? And if an artist took his time to make this and build it over here and install it, you're weird.
This is actually a crazy story. These are footprints in the desert in Mexico, and they are dated 10,000 years old, and they observed these footprints, and what they assumed, just judging off the footprints, was it was a lady that was running from something, and the footprints are a mile long, and they don't deviate, they're like a straight line, and every couple hundred yards looks like she stops and puts someone down. It's a child, and you can see following the tracks is a giant sloth tracks, and it says at one point it looked like it stood up and then back down and was chasing her. So they go for a mile long, and then they just stop, and then it's just her footprints coming back right beside them, but no child. But the weird thing is, obviously this was like mud or something she was running in. Yeah. These footprints were left undisturbed for 10,000 years, so no animal, no human stepped on them. So the theory is something could have happened to just freeze time in that region at that moment, like a cataclysm or something. Yeah. So that's why she was running. That's why the sloth could have been running.
They're all running from something.
Yeah.
It's saying that David allegedly dismembered this girl's body, head, arms, legs, packed this girl in a freezer that he bought and put in his house in California. And after she was frozen, bagged backed her up and disposed her body into that Tesla? Oh, you don't believe me, right? Look at this shit. TMZ reports that David, a suspect in the presumed homicide of Celeste Rivas, had a freezer large enough to store a body in his rental home, a relevant fact since her body had apparently been frozen for months. And they're saying that that's the freezer right there. Mind you, they're saying a second person was involved with this whole thing. And allegedly, that second person helped him put that body in the Tesla. The shit that's so crazy about this is she's been missing since September 2024. And what's even more crazy about this shit is if she was missing that long, then allegedly she could have been in that freezer for God knows when. Body frozen and all until they decided to take her and put her in that Tesla. Allegedly. Mind you, nobody wasn't making noise about this girl. Moms, friends, nothing. She just was off the map and nobody was saying anything. And if all of that is the case, freezer, next person involved, David, and David is a monster. There was in numerous pictures, numerous Instagram posts. He wrote about her. He made songs about her. And the police is just putting two and two together? That shit don't make no sense at all.
The rarest vids ever taken, part 6. Here's some incredible footage of a black tiger marking its territory, one of the rarest big cat mutations on Earth. These so-called black tigers aren't truly melanistic, but carry a genetic glitch that thickens their stripes and darkens their coat until they look almost entirely black. Only a handful of them have ever been documented, nearly all from India's Similipal Tiger Reserve for reasons unknown to researchers across the world. Seeing a rhino with its full horn intact is becoming increasingly rare due to poaching. So many rhinos have been killed for their horns that conservation teams now remove them preemptively, making a full-grown one extremely uncommon. This colorized footage of Jerusalem in 1897 is the closest thing we have to a working time machine.
Wow. They got footage from 1897, bro. What else they got hidden in the vault, man? And my brain turning, bro. There's definitely some footage, man, that we haven't seen before, man. Where's the 100-point NBA game, bro? Where's that at, man?
This rarely seen deep-sea creature known as an oarfish washed ashore in Mexico earlier this year. Oarfish normally live thousands of feet beneath the surface and can grow up to 30 feet long, which is why their sudden beachings have fueled legends across the world for centuries. Their serpent-like bodies have inspired old nautical tales of sea monsters, and in Japan they're known as messengers from the sea god, believed to appear before major disasters.
Seen a couple of those.
Antarctica is a lot different than you think. Videos like this paint it as a barren yet beautiful land of ice and snow, but apparently there are leaked photos that show us they're trying to cover up something big down there. Back in 1912, Captain Robert Scott led an expedition to the South Pole to map it out and take some pictures. This was 47 years before the Antarctic Treaty of 1959, which heavily restricted tourist travel to the majority of Antarctica. For your own safety, of course. Now, these were the photos released by National Geographic of the expedition. Just some family-friendly fun adventure, right? But apparently that was just the tip. And if you know me, I do not like just the tip. Story goes, Robert Scott and his team went down there to map the South Pole. And these are the photos they took, which were hidden from the public and apparently recently got leaked. Ancient ruins, statues, and even what looked like pyramids of some long-lost civilization that they don't want anyone to know about. And the crazy part is, in March of 1912, just 2 months after these photos were taken, Robert and his whole team died on their journey back home due to starvation and extreme cold. And these photos got later recovered by some search party that found them. Now, doubters will tell you these photos are fake because Google told them, but even ancient maps painted Antarctica as green. And this map from 1512 even shows South America connecting to the Antarctic shoreline with incredible accuracy. Antarctica is twice the size of Australia and was thought to be ice-free as recently as 6,000 years ago. And we're supposed to believe ancient humans managed to find their way around every single continent in the world, even discovering the microscopic islands of the Pacific Ocean. And somehow they just fully skipped Antarctica even when it was a luscious green paradise. A lot of people argue these ancient ruins aren't real, and who knows, but you gotta keep an open mind, right? But what are confirmed real are these photos of what looks like a pyramid hidden under the snow in Antarctica. There are many photos that prove it exists, and even professors admit it. And obviously the Google debunkers will tell you, oh, it's a natural mountain formation formed through erosion, but I don't know what kind of looking ass mountains are cut this perfect. Even satellite footage confirms it, so I don't know, you think there's something down there, or are we the trippy ones?
Yep. Theories that LeBron hasn't retired yet just because they sacrifice all their players after. Oh. Yeah, and like that one is tricky, right? So I seen something where King James, like that's his nickname, right? Yeah. But there's a real King James, and when they won the championship in Cleveland on June 19th, that's when the real King James was born. Oh my god. Yeah. And yo, yes. And they won by 13 points. Kobe was the 13th pick in the draft. Now, okay, who's making these days though? I'm pretty sure they're just doing that on purpose to be like, haha, you. They'll never understand what we're doing behind the scenes. Like, your favorite game is all planned. You know what I mean? You would never know because Kobe's the 13th pick like that. They just throw that in. Yeah.
An anteater stuck its tongue through your mouth and into your stomach. Did it remove the food you ate with its tongue? Well, their tongues can reach up to 2 feet, which is technically long enough to get to your stomach, but it would have to get past some tough twists and barriers inside the body first. After that, as it scraped for food, its quick flicking motion could tear up the delicate tissues inside, and when it pulled back its tongue to eat, it would drag up stomach acid with it, burning your throat and possibly drowning you in your own blood.
CEO of OpenAI just said he couldn't imagine raising a child without ChatGPT. So Sam Altman was just interviewed on The Tonight Show, and during this interview, he said he couldn't imagine what it would have been like raising a newborn without ChatGPT. According to Sam, he apparently asked ChatGPT about very simple parenting questions. And at one point, Sam says that he was hanging out with another parent, and that parent told Sam that their 6-month-old was crawling everywhere. And Sam apparently asked ChatGPT if he needed to take his child to the doctor, because his child apparently wasn't crawling everywhere at 6 months old. If we started using ChatGPT to raise kids, we might just be cooked, guys.
There ain't no mic, bro. That's confirmed, man. That's like raising an NPC, bro. Relying on ChatGPT. I understand GPT and AI is supposed to like help make our lives, I guess, more easier, things like that, man. But I feel like we're going down a dark road, man. When people are asking GPT, bro, how to raise their kids, bro, we're gonna lose the ancient text, man. Fans of the future ain't gonna know like what to do, bro. They're just gonna rely on ChatGPT, bro. How to change a diaper? Type it in, ChatGPT, bro. I'm gonna show you step by step. That's like the ancient text, bro. Should know how to do that, man. At least learn, bro. The real way, not by the freaking computer, bro. That ain't it.
Many people find this video scary. Check it out.
The coach in the back do not care, bro. In perfect sync, though. I'll give him that.
Maybe it's because rumor has it that if any of these ladies mess up their routine, then they are actually... So they are cheering for literally their life.
Actually, we have taken 67 out of our system, so whenever we're taking orders, they go 66 to 68. Because of people like you.
Got tired of y'all, bro.
What's going on in New York, y'all? What's going on in New York, y'all? Look at this. The fake ones are leaving. The fake ones are leaving. They are panicking. Look at this, y'all. They're coming out of there like rats coming out of New York. What is going on over here? Oh my goodness. They must have got some crazy news or something big is about to go down. Look at this.
Only in Brooklyn, y'all gonna see a million fucking... What the fuck is going on? What's up? What the fuck? Chill for these niggas fuck around with hockey and something out here.
You guys know the age of Aquarius is about truth, and y'all know that these people have been living a complete lie for the past couple hundred centuries or whatever it is. So what do they know that we don't got them scrambling like this? What do they know? What do they know? Look at this shit, y'all. Look at Ratatouille. All I know is I'm ready to listen to some big news soon. What about y'all? I told y'all there's going to be some big truth bombs that are dropped that's going to make people's hearts stop. Remember the movie A Few Good Men? They can't handle the truth. So what do they know that we don't know right now? I told y'all that shift is intensifying and they're feeling it, y'all. Let me know that in the comments below what y'all think.
The world's freakiest sea animal.
Okay.
In July 2022, people in Chile gathered around to see what a fishing boat caught off their shore. The creature was 16 feet long, and the video got 20 million views when it was posted online. Because people were debating whether or not this was an actual sea monster. But I'm sad to say it's not. This is an oarfish, a fish that typically lives about 3,000 feet below the surface. Next, at Laguna Beach in May 2021, people were shocked when they saw a terrifying football-looking fish washed up on the shore. This was a Pacific football fish, a fish that usually lives 3,000 feet under the surface. Basically, remember that terrifying light bulb fish from Finding Nemo?
Yep.
That's this guy. They're actually so rare that even marine biologists know very little about this species and what causes them to wash up on shores. And in 2022, a fisherman named Sean Bailey was sailing around off the coast of San Diego when he spotted a weird ghost-looking creature floating on the surface of the water. But after a few minutes, it started moving again because it was just sunbathing. This is a mola mola, or an ocean sunfish. These fish live 660 feet below the ocean surface and prey on jellyfish, and then warm up by sunbathing on top of the surface. And this allows seagulls to eat the parasites off its body. So for them, it's kind of like a free trip to the spa.
These villagers dig up their dead family members every 3 years, and you won't believe why. These people are from a village in Indonesia, and during their Manim festival, they get their ancestors' corpses, clean them, then put them all out to dry, and dress them in new clothes as a ritual. And the reason is because they believe they're showing them love and respect.
This is why you should be scared of mirrors. Reddit user Liberated Man said that when he was about 12 years old, he woke up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. He walked across the hall to the bathroom, hit the lights, and was about to reach for the toilet when he glanced up and saw a face in the mirror. It wasn't his face. He said that it was as if someone was on the other side, standing to the right, with their face right next to the glass, staring at him. He only saw it for the briefest moment, but it seared into his brain. He screamed and ran out to find his dad. His dad, of course, investigated and then calmed him down, or tried to. They had a prayer session because he was so freaked out. Eventually, he went back to sleep. He said that fast forward to his 30s, he had forgotten all about the event until one night, while visiting, his dad quietly brings it up. He said, "Remember that one time you saw a face in the mirror?" It suddenly came back to him in a rush of a memory, sending a chill down his spine. He said, "Yeah, I remember." And then his dad said, "Well, sometimes I think about that night." He looked down at the floor with a serious expression, and then he said, "I saw it too." He went on to describe exactly what Reddit user Liberated Man had seen. Neither of them have any idea what it was. Apparently, when his dad went to investigate, he saw it and had a freak out of his own. And the prayer session was as much for his own nerves as it was his son's.
So they both saw the same thing. So they weren't tripping there. And a Reddit user saw the same thing too, so maybe those two stories are linked. It's a creepy rabbit hole you gotta get into. That's an edit, man. Call them out.
Yeah! Scientists just did something you are not going to appreciate. Trust me, you're going to want to favor this video because this could be the start of something horrendous. Because they thought today was a brilliant day to cut open 200 million year old parasitic eggs that they found in fossilized feces. You know, dinosaur shit. They found one of the earliest predators were infested with roundworm, otherwise known as nematodes, and other parasites. I feel like I shouldn't need to say this. Don't fucking do that! I swear after 2020 we've learned nothing! And this hasn't come long after scientists revived a previously extinct ancient worm. But don't worry, that's another horror for another day. I'll be the first to say it, I do feel like we're opening Pandora's box. We revive an ancient parasite out of the good of our hearts and then it gets out of control and destroys the world. These are the parasite samples, by the way, if you wanted to see them. They are being called Morphotype 4. Bear in mind, we are nervous about permafrost melting and releasing ancient pathogens and diseases into our worlds. And now we're willingly sawing open dinosaur shit that includes a parasite. I mean, does 1 + 1 = 5? Personally, I'm not a fan of this one, so send this to a friend because they need to know what's going on. I'm terrified. Forbidden places.
Why would we even do that, bro? With all that's going on in the world right now, we think that's a good idea to examine some parasites that probably went extinct a million years ago because it was in dinosaur crap. Now we're trying to reintroduce it. It's just gonna decimate the ecosystem, man. Why do we do this to ourselves? Why?
That you can never visit. Snake Island is an island off of the coast of Brazil.
filled with deadly snakes. Rising sea levels caused this piece of land to become an island, allowing for the snakes to flourish in their own environment. There are now up to 5 snakes every square meter, and you are not allowed to go here. In Svalbard, Norway, there is a global seed vault, aka the Doomsday Vault. It is the world's seed bank, storing samples of crops from all over the world just in case of a global catastrophe. The tomb of Qin Wang in China holds an army of warriors made of clay. It protects the burial spot of the first emperor of China who died in 210 BC, and we only discovered this tomb in 1974. Paveglia Island in Italy was used to exile hundreds of thousands of victims of the plague. It is said to be one of the most haunted places on Earth, and a dark local legend says that 50% of the soil is made up of human remains. Follow for more.
Don't go there, bro. Most haunted place in the world.
Was this the worst form of medieval punishment? If you found yourself as a prisoner in a medieval castle, you may be subject to the dungeon, torture, or even execution. But what could be worse? Well, let me tell you about the oubliette, also known as the Forgotten Room. This was a specialized type of prison in some medieval castles, perhaps for the worst of offenders. It was a narrow shaft, sometimes 8 feet deep, with only one entrance and exit, a trapdoor located on the ceiling. The shaft being so narrow that the individual would be forced to stand. They couldn't kneel, they couldn't sit, they could barely turn around. To fall alone into the oubliette would sometimes break bones. In some cases, these would even be built into the upper walls of the castle, so the victim could hear the hustle and bustle of castle life, but could not escape. Depending on the situation or individual, they might throw you some food and water if you were to be kept alive. In most cases, you were subject to stand there, starve to death, and then be devoured by vermin. The most you could do was stand there, look up at the grate, and realize you cannot escape. Oh yeah, did I also mention sometimes jagged stones would be placed at the bottom? And of course, you were also subject to stand in your own waste. Lep Castle, which is located in Ireland, had quite an active oubliette. So many skeletons were discovered in one in the 1920s that it took 3 cartloads to transport them off the property. Between the sleep deprivation, the starvation, the psychological torture, and the claustrophobia, I think this is the worst form of medieval torture.
Definitely up there, man. You just standing. Say can't bend, can't do anything. Up street all that time. That's insane. It's another edit, man. Like I said, if you guys see any edits, call them out too. We learning together.
Facts that I wish I didn't know. When you die, the last thing to go is your hearing. So as all your other mortal sensations are leaving this world, the last thing you're ever going to experience are the sounds going on around you, which very well could be like your family members crying or cheering. By the year 2050, there's going to be more plastic in the ocean than fish. When pigs get a cold, like a cough, very often they will shoot their intestines out of their anus, and farmers have to, like, stuff it back in.
Never knew that. What the hell, pigs?
Fun fact, Michel Lotito, aka Mr. Eats Everything, was a French performance artist who once ate an entire Cessna 150 airplane. Holding the Guinness World Record for strangest diet, Michel first became aware of his strange affliction when he was 9 years old, and the glass he was drinking from broke, and he began chewing on the broken glass fragments and liked them. Throughout the course of his life, he consumed 8 bicycles, 15 supermarket trolleys, 7 TV sets, 6 chandeliers, 2 beds, also a waterbed full of water, a pair of skis, a coffin, 1,600 feet of steel chain, a ton of random stuff like glasses, plates, and razor blades, and of course, a Cessna 150 airplane. He began eating the plane in 1978 and spent 2 years consuming it bite by bite, cutting the plane into edible pieces about 1 to 2 centimeters long until he finally finished his meal in 1980. To protect his stomach and intestines from getting pierced by any sharp objects, Mr. Lotito would consume a ton of mineral oil and water during his meals to help the metal, glass, or whatever else move through his system. Michel Lotito passed away in 2007 at the age of 57 from natural causes.
My man ate a whole plane. If you would have told me that a couple of days ago, I wouldn't have believed you. I'm gonna have to look him up, see what else he ate, bro. Any other world records? He had that broken many, man. Eating
These are the world's
that type of
freakiest land
things.
animals. animals. In 2022, a TikToker named Kostika uploaded a video that showed a weird-looking creature running around his backyard. Once the video went viral, wildlife experts took to the comments to explain that it was a lesser blind mole rat. And this is because of how its tiny eyes are nearly tucked under its skin. They spend most of their time underground creating tunnels with their massive teeth. In 2020 in British Columbia, a woman was walking around when she saw a bug that looked like a tarantula with wings. She then shared a photo of the bug to Facebook, where wildlife experts explained that this was a very big moth called a polyphemus moth. These moths have huge bodies, and despite their scary looks, they don't have mouths to bite. And they have a lifespan of about 2 weeks. And in 2024 in Sydney, Australia, a TikToker named Blonde heard a weird tapping sound coming from her window at night, and she went to investigate. And what she found is like something out of nightmares. At her window, a bat was tapping on the glass, trying to find a way to escape the storm. And it stayed around until the next morning, where Blonde had to call a bat expert to come remove it. But this turned out to be a non-aggressive species of a bat known as a flying fox. And they only eat fruit or flowers. They also struggle to keep warm when they're wet, which explains why it was at her window. Now I just feel sorry for the little guy.
What is the dirtiest country in the world? Well, firstly, the cleanest country in the world is Denmark. It's also labelled the most environmentally friendly. But what country is the dirtiest? In 5th place, it's Pakistan. Pakistan is home to the world's most polluted city, Lahore, and has become a major problem in Pakistan. The air is voted hazardous for breathing, and Pakistan is also voted 3rd highest for public defecation. In 4th place, it's Bangladesh. Bangladesh suffers from pollution also, mostly from vehicles, factory fumes and dust. The air quality in Dhaka, one of the world's most crowded cities, is also labelled as very poor and dangerous. The serious overpopulation in Bangladesh is also a huge factor contributing to this. In 3rd place, it's Vietnam. Vietnam is very polluted due to the transportation system and the excess cars and motorbikes on the road. The water is very polluted due to trash being thrown away and neglected, and a lot of the popular cities can be covered in litter. In 2nd place, it's Myanmar. Myanmar has suffered badly with trash, pollution, but most of all, water pollution. Myanmar have a long-lasting problem with dirty water. More than anything, being a river cleaner is a job, collecting trash such as plastics and cans, then selling it, making up to $10 a day. Finally, in 1st place, it's India. India have suffered really badly from air pollution, trash and hygiene issues. It is #1 in the world for public defecation, and overpopulation has been becoming a concern for India as the country is growing at a very fast rate. Most of the lakes and rivers are poisonous and hazardous, and the pollution in some areas is very severe, making it the most polluted country on Earth. If you enjoy videos like these, please follow our page for more facts.
We learned out here today, see, because I didn't know, man. I didn't think India was going to be on that list. Most polluted in the world. We got to do better, man. We got to take care of our planet, bro. We only have on the earth, man, so we got to do our best to take care of it. I wasn't expecting that. Hey, man, that's why I say these facts. I'm learning just like y'all. Edit, man. I think, man, I'm getting better at spotting the edits. Watching these videos every day with you guys.
Can you believe that this was almost the Ghostface mask for Scream? While scouting out locations for the first Scream movie, they stumbled upon a mask in an abandoned house. It was produced by a company named Fun World, and it was called the Peanut-Eyed Ghost. Well, Fun World wanted a little bit too much money for them to use their mask, so they went to the drawing boards. Here are just a few of the concepts that they drew up. Quite different, huh? They were eventually able to come to an agreement, and thus one of the most iconic horror masks of all time was born. This may look like a Wish.com Michael Myers mask, but it's actually from the original movie. 43 years ago, they painted a Captain Kirk mask white, and now we have one of the most iconic horror killers ever. I'm actually impressed with how well it held up over that long. Who is the most realistic psychopath in cinematic history? Starting in 2014, Belgian professor Samuel Liestad wanted to know which movie characters best represented psychotic traits. Over the course of 3 years, him and 10 of his friends watched over 400 movies, spanning from 1915 all the way to 2010, trying to find the best movie Psycho. Believe it or not, Norman Bates, Patrick Bateman, and Hannibal Lecter didn't even make the cut. The team believed that their traits did not quite fit the psychopath mold. They all agreed that the best movie psychopath was Anton Chigurh in No Country for Old Men. They wrote that he seems to be effectively invulnerable and resilient to any form of emotion and humanity, and I 100% must agree. Their runners-up were Hans Beckert in the 1931 German film M, and Henry Lee Lucas in Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. Who is your favorite movie psychopath?
These are the safest countries to go if World War III was to start.
That's mind-blowing.
And considering the news at the moment, you might want to sit down, shut up, and listen! So favorite this video, just in case you ever need it. I hope we never do. Now, there are countries all around the world, but let's start with Argentina. Now, if this was to all break out, it's likely that the world would look similar to Terminator 2 Judgment Day at the end. It's likely that all the smoke from all of these will block out the sun, this resulting very quickly in famine and crop failure. But don't panic, because we have Argentina. In Argentina, there are an abundance of resistant crops, such as wheat. This is one of the places on Earth that actually has a chance of surviving World War III. Next up, we have one of the big ones, Switzerland. Now, aside from the fact that it is incredibly neutral when it comes to politics, it has a landlocked geography and mountainous terrain, as well as being one of the countries with an insane amount of underground bunkers. Actually, there's 26,000 of them, which are actually all very hidden, which will mean you will be very safe. As well, just in case there is an invasion, Switzerland literally has booby traps everywhere. It's actually kind of insane and awesome. Next up, we have one of the big ones, Antarctica. Now, barely anyone thinks about going there, which is why it's pretty safe. However, as you can tell, it's a bit fucking cold, so bring coats. Next up, we have Greenland. Now, it was in this movie, and they all survived. But on top of that, it's remote, mountainous, and politically neutral, making it kind of an ideal refuge point. And on top of that, worst case scenario, you're not too far away from the global seed vaults, which, you know, has a lot of seeds in it, so for planting, and thus food and survival. There are literally so many more countries on this list. So if you'd like me to go through more countries in a part 2, let me know. And hopefully we'll never need this video. But just in case we do send this to a friend, it could save their life one day.
One of the biggest mysteries in history has finally been solved. Alright, firstly, in 1915, explorer Ernest Shackleton and his crew set off for a voyage to explore Antarctica. However, before they could make it to Antarctica, the ship they were on, known as the Endurance, got trapped and crushed by the ice. Now, with no other options left, all of the members on board had to navigate a lifeboat hundreds of miles to safety. On this journey to safety, all of the crew survived many storms, even one being a hurricane, until they got onto a rescue boat. Even though they failed to get to Antarctica, this became a famous story because they didn't let a setback crush their spirit. But for over a century, the biggest mystery was, where did the ship end up? And believe it or not, but in 2022, the ship was actually discovered, and they were so close to where they wanted to be. It was found 2 miles underwater, and because of the frigid temperatures, it was actually pretty well preserved.
I think that's just a sign, man. Like I said, they didn't give up. They didn't stop. They literally couldn't, bro. That was their way of survival, man. They didn't give up. They didn't stop. They didn't let that crush their spirits, and they found their way home. But they was like right there, bro. Goes to show you, man. You can literally be right there. You never know, man. You know that's an edit. Stop playing with us.
A few wholesome history facts to brighten your day. In 1957, Northeast Airlines Flight 823 crashed onto Rikers Island. Prison staff and inmates alike ran to help the survivors. To acknowledge the heroic actions of the 57 inmates who helped, 30 were released and 16 got a reduced sentence. When Anthony Smith was 4 years old, he was fitted with a hearing aid, but soon became depressed and refused to wear it, saying, "Superheroes don't wear hearing aids." His mother, desperate for help, reached out to Marvel. In response, they created the superhero Blue Ear in his likeness. The zip-up cardigans that you would always see Mr. Rogers wear were actually made by his mother. She also knitted them for military troops in Pennsylvania. One of them is now located in the Smithsonian Museum. 3 completely useless yet interesting facts. Have you ever wondered why barns are typically painted red? It has nothing to do with the color itself, but for its usefulness. Long ago, different colored paints and sealers weren't an option for farmers. They needed to make sure they found or made a paint or sealer that would protect the wood on their barn. They would seal their barns with linseed oil. They would add milk, lime, and iron oxide. Rust would kill fungi and mosses and worked as a great sealant. It also turned the mixture red in color. Have you ever wondered why there's cotton inside of some pill bottles? The tradition of doing so started in the early 1900s when Bayer would put cotton in their bottles to prevent breakage of their pills during shipment. And finally, what is the purpose of putting your phone in airplane mode when you're riding on a plane? I mean, there's absolutely no way that could cause a problem while you're on an airplane, but it actually could. You see, airplane mode disables all wireless and cellular signals coming from the phone. Believe it or not, those signals could actually interfere with important...
Let's talk a little bit about what's going on.
Airplane mode is a must on a plane.
A lot of the locals there who believe what they're watching is a serial killer on the streets. Somebody who is roaming the city undetected, and it all ties back to Lady Bird Lake and all of the bodies that continue to appear in that lake under very strange circumstances. So they think that this is connected to the nightlife on Rainy Street. Thought being that a lot of young men, while they're out at bars, are getting profiled at these bars. The suspicion is that their drinks are getting drugged and then they are wandering off on foot. Now, pathway-wise, they eventually make their way to Lady Bird Lake, but somebody is following these men. The suspicion being that they are drowned in the lake and that the bodies are recovered. However, there is somebody who is suspected to be a survivor of an alleged attack. So what he remembered was that he was definitely drugged while he was out at a bar and then was on foot. While on foot, he was then crossing a bridge near Lady Bird Lake where he was pushed off by someone. Whoever that mysterious figure was who did push him off the bridge, it's an unknown. And I would say the bigger question is, why are the Austin PD not investigating this?
They need to, but that's what I say, man. I'll cover your drink. If you walk away, if you have to go to the bathroom and you come back to that drink, might as well just dump it out, get a new drink, man. You don't know what's in it. Learned that very early on, Seekers. It ain't worth it.
This is the case of the girl that vanished into thin air. Her name is Yuki Onishi. On April 29th of 2005, 5-year-old Yuki was out celebrating Greenery Day with her mother. It's a national holiday in Japan, and what they do is they go out, they celebrate nature, and they collect bamboo shoots. So Yuki, her mom, and 60 other people were out doing this. Yuki was so excited that she found her first bamboo shoot, she showed her mother, and then she ran off to find more. That's when she disappeared and was never seen from again. When they realized that she was nowhere to be found, they actually brought in search dogs and the police. This is where it gets really strange. The dogs followed her scent to the middle of the forest and then just stopped. The scent stopped in the middle of the forest as if she had just disappeared into thin air from that spot.
Whoa.
To this day, she has never been found and no one knows what happened. If you want to hear some theories, come back for part 2.
Creepy last words people said right before dying.
Scary.
Registered nurse Shirley Smith said that she had a very rich patient who was a true Satanist that was dying of cancer. The patient had upside-down crosses and a Satan's Bible by her bedside. Shirley said that she will never forget what happened. It was the middle of the summer, and yet it was so cold and dark in her room that you couldn't even stand it, even in the middle of the day. She said that it got so evil feeling in there that she had to call a priest to pray with her and her aides before they would even enter the room. When the patient passed away, she had not spoken in over 24 hours. And then all of a sudden, she sat straight up and said, "Satan, take me." And then she fell back on the bed. Shirley said that after she passed, the room got bright and extremely warm. Shockingly, when they moved the patient's body, they had to get rid of the mattress because where her body had been, it looked burnt. And the most horrible smell was emanating from the mattress cover. Needless to say, Shirley went to confession immediately because she did not want an evil spirit around her. A nurse said that one of their patients had a serious recurrence and had to be admitted. Over the course of several nights, he had become quite upset during rounds. He kept asking for his wallet, saying that he had to pay the ferryman. The medical student on rotation in the department took a quarter out of his pocket and put it in the patient's hand. The patient then dropped the coin into the cup on his bedstand and calmed down. Later that night, he passed away quietly. The nurse asked what happened. The medical student, who remembered his Greek mythology, said that the patient had to pay Charon, the ferryman, to be taken across the river Styx. A nurse said that he was doing rounds at a hospital. There was one 2-patient room, and one of the patients was a very loud and confused woman who could be quite a handful. On this particular night, she had a roommate who had passed away shortly before the nurse entered the room. She was DNR, so there was no code blue. When he entered the room, he noticed that the elderly lady, who was usually very loud and confused, was sitting quietly with her hands crossed neatly upon her lap. Something was different, and there was this look of serenity on her face. She asked him in a voice that seemed much younger and clearer than before, "Did you see them, young man? They're so beautiful." He said, "No, ma'am, there's no one else here." She said, "They're right next to you, talking to Mrs. Banneker. The angels. They're so beautiful." He said that he instantly felt every hair of his body stand up, and an electric tingle course up and down his spine. "They're not here for me this time," she said sadly.
What different dimensions look like.
Okay, so we have a glass table in someone's kitchen. Boom. There is a whole other world, a whole other dimension, all around us. All
Really?
the time. But we can't see it. Stay weird, y'all.
Let me tell you what I just learned today. A 9-year-old who was supposed to run a 5K race accidentally took a wrong turn into the adult 10K race and ended up winning it. That is so awesome. Elvis Presley's private jet was sold for $260,000 after being parked abandoned in the desert for the last 40 years. Can only imagine the history of what happened on that jet. There's a town in Poland where all 6,000 residents live on the same street. Why? The Match founder lost his girlfriend because she met someone else on Match.com. This is a nuclear explosion photo that was captured at 1/1,000,000th of a second. There was a woman that was so focused on a seagull that she missed her boyfriend proposing to her. This is the original check for $7.2 million that bought Alaska from Russia in 1868. Eva Longoria spent $6 million to save the movie John Wick after her agent convinced her it was the right decision, and she now believes it was the best money she ever spent because she still receives checks 10 years.
She's right. John Wick is a legend.
This is just incredibly unbelievable. Arizona has sandstorms, and they're so intense that when they blow through, they cover the entire city. Take a look at this video. Look at this. This was just the other day in Arizona.
Whoa.
This is Arizona, believe it or not. Look at that. That's sand. That's a sandstorm blowing in, covering the entire city. So they're saying that that storm is called a haboob. And for those of you that are unfamiliar with what a haboob is, it's a dust storm, a sandstorm. It includes up to 90-mile-per-hour winds that push the dust straight through the city of Arizona. To me, like many of you who have seen the videos coming out of Arizona, it doesn't just appear to be dust. Take a look at this.
What is it?
That's crazy. Oh, what the heck?
They driving in that?
That car's gonna...
What does that look like to you?
Can't see anything, bro, and they driving in that.
The crazy part about all of this, once that sandstorm/dust storm was done, they were hit with a crazy rainstorm. Let me know your thoughts in the comments as to what you think is going on in Arizona. And as always, I'd love to hear from you.
This massive animatronic breathes, and there's a video of it breathing at the end if you just want to go skip and see that. It's 30 feet long or 10 meters long, and don't get me wrong, it's absolutely gorgeous. However, I would be terrified to go near this thing. Once again, my account is about megalophobia and creepy things that I find creepy. But yeah, this thing is absolutely massive. Look at it compared to those two people up there. Also, damn girl, for free? It's an installation that's in London this month, and I think it's going to be there next month too. Maybe I'll actually go look at it because I am going to London next month. But it's in front of Somerset House, which is like an art kind of gallery place. But the fact that it breathes creeps me out so bad. Like, I'm just waiting for it to like break that glass and like escape and just like pummel people. Like, I'm gonna be ready to fight. It's by an artist called Tai Shani, and it's called The Spell or the Dream. And she's sleeping, and I'm just waiting for her to wake up and wreak havoc. Watch this video of her breathing and let me know how you're feeling, and would you go near this thing?
Let's check it out. Oh, that's creepy, bro. It's really breathing, what the hell?
Some of the most disturbing moments in kids' TV shows. Part 2. Mr. Meaty was a Nickelodeon TV show that aired for 2 seasons in 2005 that involved 2 ugly teenage puppets, Josh and Parker, selling meat to other puppets at a fast food restaurant. Although the show itself was disturbing enough and filled with gross scenes, one episode called Mooch Master P traumatized every person who watched it. The episode consists of Parker mooching off everybody's lunch in the mall until he decides to eat the raw burgers they planned on serving. Because of this, Parker discovers that a large tapeworm has begun living in his stomach due to the raw burger. The duo quite literally fish the tapeworm out of his stomach and it squirms around until being caught. A man then offers to buy the worm for a zoo, only to let the worm go down his own throat. Needless to say, this was a truly haunting episode of this disturbing TV show.
I don't remember that show.
Babies in Mississippi dying before they even reach the age 1. When I tell y'all, so many children, it's so many children. They are saying it is off the charts, y'all. And I'm sitting here like, how is this normal? Nobody see that this is crazy? Nobody see the problem with this? Why is nobody talking about this? We are talking about infants in Mississippi passing away at an alarming rate. As a matter of fact, they are saying 9.7 infant deaths per 1,000 babies born.
It's way too high.
They say this is the highest level within a decade, y'all. And guess what race is leading at the top of this? Just guess. If you guess blacks, you were right. Look what it say, y'all. This shit is crazy, fool. What? Now you just read what I read. So what is your questions? Because I'm trying to figure out why is black among the leading in this? What is going on? I really need y'all thoughts down below in the comments. Make sure you share this. This is wild.
Something big is happening in the UK right now. In recent weeks, England flags have been popping up all over the country. And while that might seem uncontroversial, a country flying its own flag, in the UK, it's kind of rare. And it sparked a heated debate of whether it's racist to fly the England flag or not. It's been dubbed Operation Raise the Flag, and they've started appearing pretty much anywhere a flag can be hung. Lampposts, bridges, over highways, and it's even being painted on crossings and roundabouts. People who support this operation often argue that raising the flag is about being able to be proud of traditional British identity, which they argue has been suppressed in the country in recent years. Others, however, say that when they look at this flag, they see white supremacy, and it being hung up everywhere is like a reminder that they should go back to their country. It's to the point where some argue that if the country wants a flag that isn't seen as oppressive and instead represents a modern-day Britain, they should change the flag. And this situation only got more controversial when reports started coming out that some local governments started removing these flags, citing safety reasons. So there's one side that say the England flag represents pride in British identity and history, while the other side say that much of British history is marked by oppression and that the flag serves as a reminding symbol. So while it might seem like just an argument about a flag, in reality it's a fight over what will be the identity of modern day Britain. So the question is, what do you guys think?
See, this is the reason why I don't be getting on rides at amusement parks now. Them shits are not safe. Did you see the video of the girl that flew out of the fair ride? Mind you, when you see the video, you're not gonna notice. But somebody remixed the video, Put the video in black and white and slow the video down, and you see the girl flying out of the fair ride. The video is titled, "You Think You Could Hurt Me?" I literally saw my friend passed away on the fair. Nah, man. And no, I'm not putting the video up here because I don't even think the video should be on social media. This shit is crazy. And just to show you shit was real, look at the aftermath of this shit. Look at this shit right here. This is after everything happened. This shit is crazy, man. This is exactly why I don't play that amusement park shit. No Great Adventures, no amusement parks, none of that shit. I'm not riding rides. I'm not doing anything. I've seen too many people get on them rides and not get off them rides to be playing with them rides. I'm from the era where people was getting on the Cyclone in Coney Island. If you know Coney Island, you know the Cyclone. You know how old that shit was? And now they finally said, you know what? We're not gonna open the ride anymore. Cyclone Cove. I'm from the era where people was getting on the hellhole in Coney Island, spinning around and dying, breaking their legs and all that shit in the hellhole. I'm not with that. Nope, we not gonna do that.
Peggy the doll is causing...
Hey man, some people, they into roller coasters. I'm one of them, man. I think I legit only rode one. And after that, man, I couldn't do it, bro. That ain't it for me. If I ride it, it has to be safe. Like, I have to know, guarantees nothing ever happened on that ride.
Nosebleeds, heart attacks, and even deaths. She's currently residing in Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum in Las Vegas. Peggy has a reputation for causing severe reactions for people she comes in contact with. One of these encounters was even caught on camera. Visitors of the museum have reported a range of disturbing experiences after interacting with Peggy. Some have had nosebleeds, some have fainted, chest pain, and even heart attacks. Others have reported feeling extreme rage, nausea, or dizziness. And these incidents have been so frequent that guests actually have to sign a waiver before they're allowed to enter in the room that she's in. When psychic mediums attempt to communicate with her, they actually reveal a lot of disturbing information. They claim that everything happens because the spirit that's inhabiting Peggy is angry and vengeful. This video was put onto TMZ earlier this week, and it's extremely disturbing.
Why do people visit things like that? Bad spirits. Is she like faint? The woman didn't even try to catch her. She okay?
Let me know what you thought about all of that and follow for more.
You guys
I ain't going there.
The Doomsday map? They came out with a map that looks like this.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
This is America. They do like the whole world, but this shot is of America. But this lady, her name is Peggy Bolton. She did some really fun research regarding the Doomsday map. She compared what this map looked like. She compared that to the land that Bill Gates has been buying. All the farmland. He is the majority farmland owner in the United States right now. She took the map of the farmland that he owns and overlaid it onto this Doomsday map. Every single dry land piece was occupied by his farmland, including California. So California is basically completely underwater, but there's these little pockets of islands. You see those? That little one right there, that's one of his farmlands. Like that compared to like Zuckerberg, because on this Doomsday map, Hawaii is completely fine. And she talked about how Jeff Bezos is also buying up farmland around the US. That all correlates with like these high points in America. It's super creepy.
So we need to get a boat.
According to this map, we're good. We're gonna almost have beachfront property, baby.
All the kids missing in Virginia.
What happened?
There's like 400 plus kids missing. Ice cream trucks around Virginia that are going around at 1 a.m. to unusual times, bro.
And they're like taking kids.
A shorty posted a TikTok because an ice cream truck was chilling in her backyard. But she's getting voicemails.
This is probably one of the creepiest voicemails
I have ever gotten.
You don't know me, and I don't think you'll find out who I am. Since you're a TikTok investigator, let's play a little game.
No, she's giving clues though. So it's like, since you want to debunk this whole ice cream, we'll do it to you. No, she's trying to be like a movie.
Yes. If you like big fluff in your backyard, go out and find out what's in it. And I bet nobody will get involved because it's silly.
Like, what was that at the end?
Fam! What was in it though? She didn't go, obviously. She called the cops. Ice cream trucks. What are ice cream trucks lord too? Get kids out.
Yeah. Hold on. When did this happen?
A week ago. Weapons. And no!
Oh my god.
Yo, you know when you're talking about movies?
In Manifest Life?
Manifest Life?
Hey girl, come here. You want some
That's creepy, bro.
Free ice.
We got a bunch. We got everything you could imagine. What'd you like?
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob, come on in. Come grab it.
I have to come in.
Come on, grab it.
You're supposed to give it to me.
No, well, it's free. No, you gotta come grab it.
Do y'all realize the CIA, Hollywood, the FBI, they're all in on it together, right? Some of the best brainwashing technology is literally the TV, the cell phone, because they tell you the truth in movies and TV shows. Because of universal law, they have to tell you what they're doing or what they're gonna do so they don't get no bad karma from it. But they don't tell it to you straight up because then you're actually gonna pay attention to it. So they tell you subtly using entertainment. And that's one of the best ways to subliminally program somebody is using entertainment. Because while you're busy being entertained, while you're busy laughing, you're not paying attention to the knowledge that was encoded into what you're being entertained by. There is esoteric knowledge in almost all the movies and TV shows that we have. There is esoteric knowledge in many TV shows and movies that you watch. There are subliminal messages, hidden occultism, hidden symbolism in almost every show and movie you watch. Gas stations, your grocery stores, everything around us is hidden symbolism. Because that's the thing, when you didn't design something, you don't know what its actual intended purpose was. All you can do is take the word of the person who designed it and say, yeah, this is what it's for. And you just gotta believe them. But what you don't understand is if that person is smarter than you, if they know more knowledge than you don't know what their intent is.
Before I woke up and...
Speaking facts, man, you know how many years I came out later watching these kids together with you guys, what they be putting in the TV shows and movies. You don't understand it as a kid, but as you get older, you get the message behind it. So always pay attention, man.
This Matrix, I kept hearing people say that we will have the mark of the beast and there will be a chip or a mark on our hand. Some people believe it will be on our forehead, but I believe it's already in our hand. It's in our hand. So many people sitting around waiting for the chip to look like this. What if I told you we already have the mark of the beast and it's already in my hand as I make this video? Yes, the chip or the mark of the beast is our cell phone. You ever ask yourself, why do we have to have a two-way security with everything? They don't want to send you an email. They want to call you or send you a text. What, an email is not good enough? Nah, that's because they want everyone to have a cell phone. All you have to do is look at the first 4 letters in cell phone. You get cell. When you get locked up, they put you in a prison cell. Kind of makes sense, right? You have so many people that's obsessed with taking selfies, but they don't even realize that their selfies is just a mugshot. People keep saying 666. 666 is the mark of the beast. 666 is not the mark of the beast. These devices we hold in our hand is the mark of the beast. They give us these fancy cameras so we can think that we are doing something. No, they are just watching us. They give us these fancy ass speakers. No, they are just listening to us.
Okay.
You ever find yourself sitting back just minding your business, having random thoughts, then you pick up your cell phone and your thoughts is now inside of the cell phone? Before you Google something, it's already there waiting for you. They said that there will be a time where you won't be able to buy or sell without the chip. Last time I checked, on our cell phones, we buy and we sell almost everything. Shit is getting to the point where people don't even want to go outside. They just can shop and buy off their cell phones. You ever see how people act when the new cell phone come out? You ever see how people act if they drop and break their cell phone? Shit. You ever see how children react if their parents take away their cell phone? I even heard stories of children killing their parents just because they took away their cell phone. But the real question we need to be asking ourselves is, why any of this? Why the mark of the beast? Why they want to track us? Why they want to listen to everything we speak about? That's because the Matrix is really a prison. They need to watch and monitor certain spirits. Because if you spiritually wake up, they know who you are. If you don't want to wake up, they know who you are. The only thing we had left that was sacred was our thoughts. Now our thoughts is no longer sacred. No more secret. Our thoughts is leaking all over the internet. If they can track everything you do, they will know your next step before you know your next step. Just remember that the Matrix want to replace the universe. The universe is everywhere, all the time. It knows everything we do. So the Matrix want to copy and paste the universe and watch everything we do. This is real easy right here. Why do you think they call it the iPhone? Why do you think Siri is Iris backwards? Check out my ebook.
Pink slime is now officially ground beef. What's pink slime? Let me show you. This crap up here that they add to hamburger. Watch this and see for...
Gerald Zernstein grinds his own hamburger these days. Why? Because this former USDA scientist, now whistleblower, knows that 70% of the ground beef we buy at the supermarket contains something he calls pink slime. Beef trimmings that were once used only in dog food and cooking oil, now sprayed with ammonia to make them safe to eat, and then added to most ground beef as a cheaper filler. It was Zernstein who in a USDA memo first coined the term pink slime, and is now coming forward to say he won't buy it.
It's economic fraud. It's not fresh ground beef. It's a substitute. It's a cheap substitute being added in.
Zernstein and his fellow USDA scientist Carl Custer both warned against using what the industry calls lean, finely textured beef, and is widely known now as pink slime. But their government bosses overruled them.
Why didn't you consider it beef? Because it was a salvage product. Leftovers, fat that had been heated at low temperature and the excess fat spun out.
Here's how it's done. Those waste trimmings are gathered, simmered at low heat to make it easier to separate fat from muscle, put in a centrifuge and spun to finish the separation. Next, the mixture is sent through pipes where it's sprayed with ammonia gas to kill bacteria, and finally compressed into bricks and flash frozen for shipment to meat packers and grocery stores where it's added to most ground beef. And it doesn't have to appear on the label, because over objections of its own scientists, USDA officials with links to the beef industry labeled pink slime meat.
Ew! I guess you really never know what you're eating. Shabarabooskies and bon appetit, baby!
Shrinkflation continues. American ordered a McDonald's Filet-O-Fish sandwich and is shocked that they are now the size of a slider. I worked at McDonald's. Those are definitely smaller. Don't buy McDonald's though, but also shrinkflation is a shocking situation where you're buying something that's smaller but it's the same price or possibly even more. What's going on with our economy? What's coming around the corner with our economy? What's with the emergence of AI? Is this a part of a plan? We're going to be discussing more about this on my Rumble channel. If you want to tune in, comment the word Rumble below and check your DM.
Shrinkflation, bro. Bloodlock.
Pictures that show the power of time. These teddies were bought at the same time 30 years ago, but one of them was given to a kid and the other was kept in a storage. And this is what happens when you don't clean a building for 50 plus years. I actually didn't know they were supposed to be white. Here's what penises looked like 80 years ago versus now. I wonder if they still accept the old ones. What do you guys think? And here's the size difference between 100 used bills versus new ones. Pretty neat.
Imagine accidentally knocking on the wrong door and then being murdered because of it. Well, that's what happened to 56-year-old Maria Cotto after visiting a client at an apartment building in Westchester. Maria was a caseworker for the county's Department of Social Services and was conducting home visits when she accidentally knocked on 31-year-old Hasim Jenkins' front door. When he answered the door, instead of directing Maria to the correct apartment, he punched her in the face. Maria tried running from him, but he chased her into a neighbor's apartment and he continued to kick her in the head with a pair of heavy boots. Somehow, while this was all going on, she managed to call 911, but when police arrived, Hassim claimed that Maria tried to stab him and that's why he beat her. But that never happened. She only knocked on his door because she thought that was her client's home. This poor lady suffered severe brain bleeding, brain swelling, and multiple facial fractures. She was placed on a ventilator, but unfortunately, she passed away a month later. When Hassim was arrested, Maria's phone was found in his pocket, and now he's facing a long list of charges, including second-degree murder. And something her family said, which is so sad, is that this all happened the year before Maria planned to retire.
Tasteophobia. Thalassophobia.
Very deep water. Let's try it. I've never been scared of water like my whole life. I ain't doing that. Number 3, you got it. Can't really see anything. It's pitch black. Yeah, that ain't for me. Dude. I don't know how people get on boats like that, bro. Those raging waters.
Most secret places you are not allowed to visit. The Elephant's Foot, Chernobyl. A deadly mass of radioactive lava beneath Reactor 4. Just standing near it 4 minutes could mean certain death. Even now, decades after the Chernobyl disaster, it still emits dangerous levels of gamma radiations. It's expected to remain hazardous for thousands of years. Svalbard Global Sea Vault, Norway. This high-security vault was built to preserve humanity's foods supply in case of global catastrophe. It's sealed tight, only opened during true crisis.
What crisis? What are they planning for, man? They got my brain spinning, bro. I want to be prepared.
From different countries. Japan. Kachasik Honor. Spain. Santa Campana. Thailand. Mae Nak. United Kingdom. Bloody Mary. Nepal. Yeti.
Heard about that before.
Pakistan. Pichel-Piri. America. Bell Witch. Mexico. La Llorona. India. Pishacha.
Okay guys, breaking news. It's actually happening. So every adult in the UK will now be required to have a new government-issued digital ID. Why, you may ask? Well, apparently immigration is the reason. So this announcement is supposed to be made official tomorrow by Keir Starmer, and anyone starting a new job in the UK will be soon required to present that digital ID. Now, this is all because it's said to be helping illegal immigration, because those digital IDs would then be automatically checked against a central database that will see if you are legally allowed to work in the UK or not. Now, it probably should be noted that this has been a talking point in the UK for many years, but no government before has done this, one, because of massive public hesitancy around digital IDs, but also because of the big questions of whether this would even help the problem it's intended to help in the first place. There's also a lot of other concerns about privacy, about civil liberties, about potential cyber attacks, having access to all of that data. And then also the big question is that if it doesn't have the intended effect that it does, so it doesn't drop that UK small boat crisis, then will it be abolished? Will it be taken away? And if not, then why? So let me know what you guys think. Are you a fan of digital IDs or not?
Have you heard about this supernatural phenomenon that sometimes happens to people in really bad car wrecks? Well, apparently multiple people who have been in horrible car accidents have reported seeing the same strange thing. It's called the third man syndrome, and it's when a supernatural presence offers comfort to a victim during a survival situation. I'm going to share one of the crazy stories with you now, but if you're interested in this, tonight's episode is going to be all of these stories. So a few years ago, a Reddit user was in a horrible car wreck. Like so bad they cut the car door off to get them out. They black out during the accident, but as they come to, they see a woman open their car door and get into the back seat. And the woman put her hand on the driver's shoulder and told him that it was going to be okay. And then she said that help was on the way. The user then blacked out again and came to with a fireman cutting off the door of the car. Afterwards, they're with it enough to talk to the police officers and the firemen on the scene, and they're telling them like, hey, there was this woman that got in the car with me, is she okay? And everyone is like, there was no one in the car with you. Apparently no cars passing by had even stopped for the accident because the fire department was so close, so it was super unlikely that anyone had gotten in the car with them. But this is not the only time that that's happened. Other people have reported a woman getting into the car with them after an accident. There's so many other supernatural stories just like this that I explore in the episode tonight, so make sure you're following along.
Speaking of violence, I mean, for Des Freeman, is this going to end, in your opinion, in any way other than in a violent confrontation?
If people are assisting him, I'm sure there's also people saying, give up, just hand yourself in. But they're probably not willing to do that themselves, hand him in. He may decide to hand himself in himself, or he's just going to fight to the end and wait till he's discovered. With the current situation, I think it's going to end badly, the way it's going, or he's no longer with us. The best thing for him to do is surrender and come out and just face the music. Just have the whole thing end.
Badasses of History, Part 4. After having his leg amputated due to cancer, 21-year-old Terry Fox started running across Canada to raise money for cancer research. Every day he ran a full marathon for 143 straight days until his cancer forced him to stop. He ran a total of 3,338 miles, and his fundraiser has helped raise more than $600 million to date. In 1883, the body of Frank Devereaux and a bear were found dead beside each other, with the ground around them thrashed for 20 square feet. It's believed that the man and the bear fought to the death. American pilot Thomas Fitzpatrick once drunkenly stole an airplane from New Jersey and landed it in front of a bar in Manhattan to continue drinking. 2 years later, someone at the bar didn't believe his story, so he went and did it again. During World War II, American Private Edward Arns was found clutching a sword surrounded by 13 dead Japanese soldiers. Barely hanging on to life, his last words were, "I guess they didn't know I was a Marine."
3 Minecraft facts that you probably didn't know. Did you know that the Enderman's language is just English played backwards? And did you know that Minecraft was originally called the Cave Game? And lastly, a school in Sweden makes their kids play Minecraft every single day. Make sure you share this message and follow for more.
I had to call a cop on that Sweden fact. The school makes them play Minecraft every single day. You know how many kids would love for that to happen to them, man?
Test your phobia. Trypophobia.
Trypophobia? I'm cool. Bread?
So I was looking at buildings today that are even able to do this.
Yo, what's up? Here's some scary facts about our world that you probably didn't want to know. Part 43. One of the reasons refrigerators are magnetic is because back during the early 1900s, children used to get stuck inside of these when they were playing hide and go seek, and they would actually suffocate and die. There's actually a condition known as arachnodactyly, and it makes your fingers and your toes appear abnormally long in comparison to your palm and to your foot. It can appear at birth or later on during life. So don't think you're safe just yet. There's a chance that you could experience internal bleeding, but you may not even know it's going on until it's too late. Oh yeah, I didn't know if you knew this or not, but actually when you die, they drain your body of all the blood. They put a tube through your jugular, it goes down a table, and then it empties out into like a sink or a toilet. Yeah, and then it's just replaced with formaldehyde.
I did not know that.
Top 3 most dangerous places in the world. At number 3, Lake Natron. This lake here in Tanzania, Africa is that dangerous, it's not even funny. The pH levels and temperatures are that high that if you were to swim in it, it would pretty much burn off your skin. It's the equivalent to a lake of acid, and some say if Hell had a lake, this would be it. And you won't believe it, there is one animal that can survive here. Yeah, these orange gangsters, flamingos. At number 2, Snake Island. Just off the coast of Brazil, this island is infested with millions and millions of snakes. If you went here, you would see up to 5 new snakes every single step you take. Oh yeah, they're all venomous and extremely dangerous. And at number 1, this house here. If you don't already know, this is 10 Downing Street, the home of this lunatic Boris Johnson, who is planning on keeping the UK in lockdown until the year 2085.
People are saying their favorite celebrities are hanging out with a witch. As you can see, this woman is pretty friendly with a lot of celebrities. A$AP Rocky, Kim Kardashian, Kanye, even the Migos. But why are they so deeply connected with this woman? Her name is Michelle Levy, and it says she's a fashion designer, film producer, etc. But she's also married to Rick Owens, who is known as the Dark Lord of fashion. Look, here she is even wearing his head as a purse. Oh, and she's very close to Marina Abramovich, whose art is a little demonic. I mean, she once threw a party with a human-shaped cake. I kid you not. Look at this. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Is this just a connection for fashion, or is there something more darker going on? And make sure you guys hit that follow button, because my next video will blow your mind.
One of the most famous leading ladies of all time, Anne Hathaway, has lived before, and she is the reincarnation of one of the most famous leading ladies of the past. There's a massive conspiracy theory that Anne Hathaway's husband, Adam, is the reincarnation of the most famous playwright of all time, William Shakespeare. Because look at how much they look alike. It's very suspicious. And if anyone had the Illuminati power to reincarnate themselves, it's the most famous man of his time. And guess what Shakespeare's wife was named? Anne Hathaway. And this is what she looked like. Look familiar to another Anne Hathaway we know? And here they are all together. The theory goes that they wanted to reincarnate so they can come back and the wife could be famous in this lifetime, maybe so she can act, because women weren't allowed to act in the 1500s. And Anne is very known for her poised, proper, almost old-fashioned way of talking and behaving that rubs some people the wrong way, but maybe it's because she's from a different time. Before I show you the most eerie part of all this, make sure you follow so you finally know the craziest conspiracy theory about each of these celebrities and request who you want to see next. Anne Hathaway was born on the exact day, to the date, of Shakespeare and Anne's 400th wedding anniversary. To the date.
I mean, the pictures when they put them side to side, at first I was kind of skeptical, but they were kind of looking alike. And the fact that she was born on their wedding anniversary, I mean, we all know it could just be one big coincidence, but the way it was lighted up, man. What do you think?
So today we're going to take a look at the world's most unexplained thing. I was born with 3 holes in my heart and mutated valves. The top comment is, "Hey brother, welcome back." When I was little, I had imaginary friends named Docho and Dimka. Decided to do my ancestry, they were actually my great-great-grandparents. I don't know about y'all, but if my child ever said they had imaginary friends, I don't play that game. My dad passed away unexpectedly when I was 22. We started seeing his face in random places, like in this photo of a curry plant. This was only a few days after he passed away in this exact room. Showed my dad this goofy picture my friend took of me. He then showed me this picture of my grandmother, his mother, who passed away. I have never seen this picture of her before. Bro, I'm telling y'all, reincarnation's gotta be real. The top comment is, "No one cares, Tori. You ran through in an alcoholic. Your grandmother looks respectable, though." Make sure to subscribe if you're new here.
That's crazy to say. The blue.
You can tell how clean someone is by their kitchen or their bathroom. You can tell how neat someone is by their living room. You can tell someone's personality by their bedroom. You can tell how organized someone is by the inside of their car. You can tell how healthy someone is by their fridge and their pantry. You can tell someone's self-esteem by the way they show up. You can tell how busy someone is by how they listen. You can tell someone's dedication by their body. You can tell how stressed someone is by the attention that they give. You can tell how respected someone is by the way other people treat them. You can tell how respectful someone is by the way they treat other people. You can tell how healed someone is by their playlist. You can also tell how toxic someone is by their playlist. You can tell how real someone is by their responses. You can tell how comfortable someone is by their posture. You can tell someone's values by how they view other people. You can tell how dangerous someone is by their demeanor. You can tell how envied someone is by the way other people talk. You can also tell how hated someone is by the way other people talk. And you can tell how loved someone is by their family or friends.
The left side of the road is technically the right side to drive on. If you drive on the right, ironically, you've been doing it wrong. Because at first, the entire world rode on the left side, and for a very valid reason. Even way before cars were around, in the time of the Romans, with their horses and chariots, they always kept to the left. The reason being that most people's dominant hand was typically the right, as is still the case today, with only about 10% of the world being left-handed. This was to keep the arm they would hold their sword in free for potential combat and jousting with their neighboring traffic lane, which would have been their right hand attacking the left lane. And it was like this for hundreds of years, albeit with horses and carriages, not cars yet. But then someone came along and was all like, I don't like this. I want everyone to ride on the right from now on. And so he fully changed the rules of road travel because he was left-handed and preferred to ride on the right side so that his left sword hand could be free. That person was Napoleon Bonaparte, that French guy who took over Europe, so that he and anyone who was left-handed could have an advantage in combat during their travels. Some historians will tell you that he wasn't actually left-handed, that Napoleon was just keen on changing centuries-long traditions for the sake of creating a new society, the whole purpose behind his revolution. Either way, he is the one that brought right-hand driving into every place he conquered, which continued into our modern civilized world. Only the United Kingdom, being the French's eternal arch-nemesis, refused to adopt the right-side road travel, which is why even today, they and many other countries which were once British colonies or just influenced by British culture still drive on the left, and the rest of us drive on the right, because this guy here said so. Disclaimer, please follow the correct driving laws in your country. Don't drive wrong just because you think you're right.
Yo, what's up? Here's some facts that you probably didn't know about the world's most notorious serial killers. During his killing spree, Jeffrey Dahmer had so many dead bodies in his apartment that he ended up having to store one in his bathtub. But not only that, he continued to shower over this corpse that was in his bathtub for about a month or so. Just want you to think about that for a second. After being placed behind bars, David Berkowitz, otherwise known as the Son of Sam, claimed that he was saved by Jesus and basically counseled and preached while he was in prison. Now, I don't know how you go from killing around 6 people to becoming a preacher, but hey, what do I know? Richard Chase, otherwise known as the Vampire of Sacramento, basically took unlocked doors as an invitation to come in and kill. And if your doors were locked, well, he would just walk off and try another house. Please keep your doors locked. Serial killer Durango Vargas confessed to killing and eating over 10 people, but he claimed that he wouldn't eat fat people because they were too high in cholesterol.
What? He's sick in the head. All of them were.
She lost her life because she mispronounced a word. Lydia Charity Schatz was born on March 15th of 2002 and was originally from Liberia. Kevin and Elizabeth Schatz lived in Paradise, California with their 6 biological children. The couple decided they wanted to add more to their family, so they headed to Liberia to adopt 3 children, including Lydia. But Lydia and her 2 siblings thought were going to be a loving home was the complete opposite. On February 5th of 2010, Lydia was harmed so badly with a 1/4-inch plastic tube just because she mispronounced a word. Kevin and Elizabeth held Lydia down for 9 hours and harmed her so badly on her back that it caused severe tissue damage. That following day, Lydia passed away in the hospital. Lydia's 11-year-old sister, Zariah, was also harmed by Kevin and Elizabeth because allegedly she was a bad influence and a liar. She was hospitalized in critical condition but fortunately survived. When Kevin and Elizabeth were being investigated, they stated that they used a child discipline teachings by a fundamentalist Christian organization. Investigators discovered that Elizabeth and Kevin were doing this to their biological children as well, and were even teaching their oldest daughter to join in on doing this to her siblings. In court, Kevin was found guilty and sentenced to a minimum of 22 years, and Elizabeth was also found guilty and sentenced to 13 years in prison.
The ancient Romans had a bone to pick. This solid silver ancient Roman amulet was sold at an auction, and try to take a guess as to what it was used for. It's only 3 centimeters tall, depicting a grotesque head with exaggerated features dating back to around the 1st to 2nd century AD, part of a private collection called the Esteemed European Collection. And it has this long, prominent nose, high cheeks, and a massive forehead, but what does it all mean? Well, grotesque features were traditionally used in amulets during the time of the Romans as a way to ward off evil, to keep the bearer protected and serve as symbolic reminders of the separation between our earthly realm and the divine. And I guess, lucky buyer scored this one right here for £3,200, about $4,300, so I hope it was worth it.
So I've gotten asked like 3 times this week if I think that Paul Walker actually faked his death and he's still alive out there. Now, up until this week, I had never heard this theory, and I was like, I don't know. So then I looked into it, and here's what I found out. Now, we all know that Paul Walker was like a big car guy, like a big car enthusiast. That's probably how he got involved with the Fast and the Furious franchise to begin with. But that love of cars was actually his real life personality. Like, he loved really cool cars. So some people thought it was a little bit coincidental or ironic or strange that he actually died in a cool car. One of the things that's a little bit weird about this is he was with his friend Roger, and Roger was a professional driver, racer type of person. So Roger would have been like super experienced when it comes to driving really fast cars, and it seems a little bit strange and unlikely that, you know, he would end up, you know, dying when he had all this experience driving these really crazy cars. With that being said, though, I feel like, you know, we've heard of instances of, you know, even like NASCAR drivers dying in like crashes and stuff like that. So that part in and of itself isn't all that strange. But here's where things do get a little bit weird. This is the car that, you know, both of these guys actually ended up passing away in. Let's take note of the license plate. It's 7CCY590. But the license plate that was like at the crash site is 3URS93. So why are the license plates different? Like, did they get swapped out at some point? Because everybody saw him leave with the car with the original license plate, and then all of a sudden this one was at the site. So did the cars get switched? Like, what's going on? This part's a little bit strange. And the other thing that's kind of weird is like the story I found out actually leaked before he actually died. So he wasn't even dead yet, and there were all these like news outlets already posting about how Paul Walker died in a car accident. So it's almost as if these news outlets already had this information and like accidentally like released it a little bit early. I had never heard that part before, but that part really got me because that's happened with other like celebrity death kind of situations too, where like the news accidentally leaks like before it actually happens. And so it's like, what's going on here? So now I'm starting to understand like why people are speculating about this, because it seems like there's just a lot of things that don't add up that are just like a little bit too strange. Any of these things by themselves, other than the news leaking too early, would have been like, okay, I mean, it could happen, but I feel like everything put together, it does make for kind of a suspicious situation. But here's the part I really don't understand. A lot of the other like celebrity deaths that people speculate might have been faked. There's like a very good reason why they might do such a thing. With Paul Walker, I'm having a really hard time finding a motive of like what would make him, you know, want or need to fake his own death. Like, he was a pretty big celebrity, but I don't feel like he was like at like, you know, mega star status to where like he couldn't even live or do anything. I don't know. And I also don't think he was like in any trouble that I know of. So if you know of a reason why Paul Walker might have wanted to fake his own death, put it in the comments. Or is there a chance that maybe the death wasn't faked, but maybe it was planned? If so, why?
Survive part 3.
Here we go.
Now, last time I checked, the reason that the demon transfers is because you're about to see someone. I'm big brain, so why don't I just close my eyes before someone ends up doing that? And I avoid the demon altogether. There's no way he's going to transfer through my eyelids if they're shut. So as long as I don't see someone doing that, I should be good. You then have any version of Ghostface. Now, yes, I know there's multiple Ghostfaces, sometimes 3, sometimes 2, sometimes 1, but they're all stupid. If you really look at these movies and you see how clumsy these characters are, they're just getting lucky. They're not actually making big brain plays. Most of the time you're hitting them with fridges or outrunning them, throwing things down the stairs and they're getting tripped up. They're just normal people. If you find out that there's a mass unaliver in your town and it could possibly be your friend, hop in your car, check the back seat in the trunk, and dip. And if you have to fight them one-on-one, hopefully there's only one, but 9 times out of 10 you should be able to catch a break enough to run away. You then have my boy Jason Voorhees. Now I'm not talking the 2009 remake where bro is a hunter and can sprint. I'm talking about normal, slow-walking Jason Voorhees. Most of the time bro's only hanging out at Camp Crystal Lake. Just don't go camping at Camp Crystal Lake. Second, bro walks everywhere. Yes, extremely strong, super strength, inhuman durability. Just don't get in his way. I know I'm making it sound simple, but if you really, really think about it, in most of the movies, people are messing with him for no reason. Why are you coming back to Camp Crystal Lake? Stay home. Like and follow if you'd like to see a part 4.
Disturbing body facts that
would you guys survive?
Day. If you have a surgery where your other organs need to be moved around, they might not function a day after the surgery because the body assumes they're just dead. Next, the brain is the last thing to function when you pass away, meaning in most cases you'll hear, feel, and can smell your last moments on Earth. And it's possible to die from a pimple. Let me explain. If a pimple gets infected, let's say from you itching it, the infection could get into your bloodstream, causing you to have an intense fever. Then, a few days later, you will start having seizures and vomiting everywhere, so try not to play too much with your pimples. And finally, it's possible to get brain damage from a toothache, because if you have a tooth infection, there's a high chance of it getting to the brain if it's not taken care in time.
Man, I never even knew that. The more you know.
Elephants are the biggest crash outs in the animal kingdom, and no, that's not a weight joke. These drug merchants can be menaces when they want to be, and whoever decided to lie and make this up actively took names off the census, which the elephants don't need help doing, seeing as the pachyderms pass 10 to 500 people a year, allegedly. Y'all remember that elephant that broke out of a sanctuary, traveled over 100 miles just to life deprive a 70-year-old senior citizen while she was getting water? And he stayed mad for 100 miles straight. Not only that, he pulled up to her funeral, grabbed her soul divorced body, and said, you know what, 0 HP ain't enough, I need you in the negatives. Now, a lot of y'all said she deserved it because she was involved in poaching and elephant mafia slid, and yeah, that could be true. She also could have breathed, since sometimes that's all it takes. There's a reality where someone's grandmother got murked completely unprovoked. Got put on a shirt, except the shirt was reversible. Like all males, eventually elephants get to the point where all they want to do is multiply without a calculator. Damn, what's on the camera, did he? The problem is, when they're big enough to want it but not big enough to do something about it, they act out by attempting to off each other. Of course, sometimes they get frustrated when they smell the scent of a female on a baby, leading to them yeeting the baby. He really just Kobe the calf. He's fine though. Now, but the worst crash outs are the ones we created. So poaching, right? It's usually the older, bigger bulls that get hit the hardest, obviously. Problem is, without those same seasoned bulls, the younger, immature bulls start wilding all the way out. What happens when you get hormonal teenage 10,000-pound frat boys with no father figure? Hell if I know. For an elephant, fatherless behavior means turning an angry unicorn from a tight end to a whiteout. In the 90s, 3 angsty elephants murked not 1, not 2, not 10, but 63 rhinos got folded by the 3 musketeers of malice. Damn. It wasn't until they brought back the older seasoned bulls that the younger males fell back in line. They're chill most of the time, but let them flip that switch and they're editing the census with a backspace button. Still my favorite animal though.
A teacher is going to prison after making a teenager do something absolutely shocking. It was 2023 at South Fremont High School in St. Anthony, Idaho. That November, school teacher Jessica Lawson, age 36, was arrested. The story that would unfold would go on to shock the local community. Jessica was sat in the passenger seat of a car and police spotted it due to a damaged tailgate. And thank God police did stop this car. When officers looked inside, they found the teacher was with a teenage boy. Now, the teenager was actually driving the car and they decided to get them to pull over and to interview the boy in private. What they discovered was truly disturbing. The teacher had picked the child up from his parents' house. She allegedly gave him alcohol and substances and then had SA'd him. She ultimately made the teenager then drive her vehicle because she was too intoxicated. She was arrested and given 2 years in prison, but she could now be facing more time behind bars. This is for pleading guilty to battery of a child. He's also been given a 20-year no-contact order with the victim of this crime.
This doll is so dangerous it's locked in a box. This doll right here is named Robert, and he's the most infamous doll in the entire world. And the story behind him will creep you out. In 1904, a little boy received Robert the doll as a birthday gift. At first there was nothing wrong, like he was just a normal doll. But then the little boy started saying strange things like, Robert made me do it, Robert told me to say this. And this little boy was very well behaved up until this point. He never got into trouble. But now he was getting into trouble every single day at school and blaming it on the doll. One day the family woke up to the little boy screaming on the floor with the doll on top of him with a knife. People even claim to see the doll moving. And now this doll is locked in a box in the Florida Keys. A lot of him that go to visit him think it's fake at first, but then they claim to feel some kind of demonic force once they actually go into the room. There's even a sign that makes you ask him for permission to take a photo. And they say if you don't, you end up having a lot of bad luck after. Do you think this could be demonic? Animals with shock.
Do you, man? We'll be seeing that Robert doll in a couple of clips, so I think there's merit to those claims, especially about them. They're saying how people be taking pictures of them and bad stuff happens to them. That's some dark energy in that Robert doll, bro. Stay away.
Shocking defense mechanisms. Horned lizard. This small reptile can shoot blood from its eyes as a defense mechanism. It lives in Northern and Central America. The blood contains chemicals that taste bad to predators, helping the lizard escape. Hairy frog. It is also known as the Wolverine frog
because it can break its own bones and push them through its skin to form sharp claws when threatened. This whole frog lives in Central Africa.
The fastest things in the
Wolverine
world,
frog?
part 2.
Crazy.
Fastest internet, Singapore, 184.65 megabits per second. Fastest running insect, Australian tiger beetle, 5.6 miles per hour. Fastest woman, Florence Joyner, 22 miles per hour. Fastest helicopter, Boeing V-22 Osprey, 351 miles per hour. Fastest spacecraft, NASA's Parker Solar Probe, 93 miles per second.
This woman passed away a few hours after this photo was taken when she flew to Turkey for a mommy makeover. 38-year-old Kaydel Brown flew from the UK to Istanbul with her sister Leanne, and she had a procedure done at Clinic Expert. Her procedure included a tummy tuck, liposuction, and BBL. The entire process leading up to the surgery was perfect. They even offered a discount for Kaydel, and that's what made her want to do her surgery here. But things took a turn a few hours into the surgery when the doctor came out and told her sister that Kaydel was dead. This is the doctor that performed her surgery, and she said that with these types of procedures, it is very high risk. Now, you would think that things could not get worse, but when Kaydel's body was brought back to the UK, the coroner told her family that large parts of her organs were missing, such as her brain and her heart. During an interview, the sister said that legally they couldn't do anything and that the clinic was allowed to take the organs if they wanted to.
They returned a body, they'd kept pieces of her heart and her intestines. How hard was that to hear? Better. I didn't think it was allowed, but they said it's legal, they can take what they want. Well, I thought you'd have to ask at least permission from family before you took anything, but they sent a death certificate straight away, just put no, there's not even a cause of death.
But a lot of people believe that her organs were removed to sell them.
The dumbest conspiracy theories on Earth that people actually believe.
Break it down.
So, let's take a look. The moon doesn't exist. Right. Yeah, sure. People believe the moon is a hologram that is projected into the sky every night. What? Oh my days. Now, I'm sorry. The dinosaurs built the pyramids of Egypt. Yeah, I bet they did. Who is writing these? What? It says that it was written in the Old Testament that dinosaurs helped the Egyptians to build the Great Pyramids. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, definitely. Lizard people are running the world. No, I'm not being funny, mate. This isn't Spider-Man. What? No. Approximately 12 million people in America believe that the government is made out of lizards. Guys, if you're watching this video, what are you doing? What are you doing?
They might be made to the lizard ones, though. I've
Here
seen those
humans
clips.
that have actual superpowers. So Stephen Wiltshire is an artistic artist who can draw an entire cityscape inclusive of all architectural details from his memory after only seeing it once.
A loose goat returned home with a medal after he accidentally joined a half marathon over the weekend, and his owner only found out when she woke up to find social media flooded with photos of her goat in the middle of the race. Joshua the goat lives at a pumpkin patch in Conception Bay South, and the route for the town's very first Trailway Trek half marathon went right by his home. Mr. Joshua is a very friendly little guy, and he's used to following people around while accompanying his family on walks. So when he saw people running by, he must have thought it was a cue for him to join. Fueled by adrenaline, Joshua managed to escape his pen and started keeping pace with the runners as if he were a trained athlete. Volunteers tried to contain him, but Joshua was determined to run his race, dodging anyone who tried to stop him. Meanwhile, Heidi Taylor, the owner of Taylor's Pumpkin Patch, had no idea that Joshua had made his own morning plans until she happened to check social media and came face to face with dozens of photos of her goat mid-marathon. She used the post to track his location and showed up with his favorite snacks, which finally enticed him to take a break. Once he was secured on a leash, Heidi took Joshua to the finish line, where he was presented with a medal for finishing first place in the goat division. Joshua ran an estimated total of 3 miles, but in the eyes of the locals, he was the race's undisputed champion. He's now back home resting after after his big day. I'm Jen, and I post something positive every day.
This is what the perfect human body looks like according to science. And yes, women would have bloody baby pouches. A group of anatomists wanted to see what a person would look like if the human body evolved for peak functionality, and then took inspiration from other species that do things better. So firstly, the human 2.0 would have a sturdy chimp's lower back and the shock-absorbing legs of an emu. Posing it here for all my feet people out there. Rare. To improve blood circulation, she has tiny pumps in her groin. I'm not hearing anybody else. Our senses would be enhanced by having supersized eyes and the ears of a cat. Apparently titties are a flaw and had to go. Alright. Inside, we'd have the reliable heart of a dog, the graceful lungs of a swan, a choke-proof windpipe. And to ensure a pain-free childbirth, women would nurse their babies in a marsupial pouch. So the question is, if this is what the perfect woman would look like, what would change for a man?
That's like it looked like a freaking human hybrid mixed up with just different animals combined. What were those? That's what the perfect, I guess they said evolutionized human look like. It's gonna look like in a couple of years. I don't know. What do you guys think? That's a head turner.
An animal that doesn't die? Giant Galapagos tourists can live 150 years old. There's a quahog named Ming that was 500 years old. But this fascinating creature doesn't die. Tiny jellyfish are known as biologically immortal. If adult's injured or can't find food, folds in on itself and turns back into a larva. Like a butterfly back to a caterpillar. So do they just live for millions of years? Still dies if it gets eaten.
Let's try to guess the religion of these YouTubers. Mr. Beast, I feel like he's Catholic, no? He's gotta be a Christian for sure. I know Chandler definitely is. Agnostic, really? I wouldn't expect that.
Mm-hmm.
Speed is Christian for sure. Not sure which denomination, but definitely Christian. Yep, there we go. Same with Kai. I feel like a lot of the streamers are religious. Yep, there we go. PewDiePie. Well, he's European, so I feel like there's a decent chance he's Christian. But he's a curveball, and he lives in Japan now, so maybe like a Buddhist. No atheist, really.
Okay.
Markiplier's a curveball to me. I feel like he could be anything. Maybe like agnostic for him. A-religious. So what's that? Like non-religious, basically? Aiden Ross is Jewish for sure. Yep, Jewish. And then I know Ryan Tran's like a converted Christian. He's big into God now. Yep. Alright, nice.
Things humans weren't meant to see.
Okay. Did any of those YouTubers shock you? I ain't gonna lie, we're gonna have to call Cap on this, man. It's a good edit though, but yeah, I'm calling Cap. Yeah, that's Cap. Like I said, if y'all see anything that's Cap, bro, I need your help. Call it out. So we can learn together, man. This should be trending worldwide of footage like this actually got out. Wait, what the heck? Looks like a damn dog.
Things that only 0.01% of people can do. Touching your nose with your tongue. Yeah, I can't do it. Apparently some people can't just raise one eyebrow. I think I can do it. And apparently some people can't cross their eyes, and I'm pretty sure I just did it. Sneeze with your eyes open. Okay, that's impossible. Nobody can do that. Apparently rolling your tongue is super rare. So apparently I'm a rare person. Apparently some people can bend their hand upwards. How is that possible?
People who turn themselves
Can any of you guys do that, bro? I couldn't do none of that.
into animals. Toko-san. A Japanese man has spent 12,000 pounds on a hyper-realistic costume to fulfill his lifetime dream of being an animal. He commissioned Seven, a company that makes costumes for TV adverts and films, to produce his bespoke costume. Took them 40 days.
The world's first human dog.
Did you know there might be a
Okay.
dead body in the cargo space of the next airplane you fly in, and you wouldn't even know? Hello, and welcome to Not So Fun Facts, a series where I tell you unsettling facts. Back in the 18th and 19th centuries, dentures were sometimes made out of dead soldiers' teeth. As you can imagine, they didn't last very long. Have you ever felt something so cold that it felt hot? Some people who die of hypothermia are found naked because as their body temperature drops, they start to feel burning hot and take off their clothes, leading to an even quicker death. Like and follow for more.
There was something evil in this woman's room, because it looked like her dog was telling her she saw something that her owner couldn't. A woman in Sydney was woken up at 5 a.m. by her dog, Coda. She started shaking uncontrollably and looking at something that was in the room with them.
Mm-hmm. She's shaking. It's like getting in a defensive
The
position.
woman kept looking to see what it was, but she couldn't see anything. But strangely, Coda was on the fence the whole time.
You can see she's trying to protect its owner. Dogs can
Coda
see
then
the
hopped
spirit.
in the bed, keeping her eyes on whatever was there, aggressively growling at it. What exactly did Coda see in that room? And what would you do in this situation? Let me know what you think.
I'm getting the hell out the roof.
She's known as the most haunted doll in Iowa and one of the most haunted dolls in the United States. It's said that Ginger is possessed by a demon. People have seen her move by herself. She's been recorded jumping off of tabletops, and people have watched her pick things up. Nobody knows what type of a spirit is inside of Ginger, but she's kept locked in this box because people are so afraid of her. Look into her eyes, and you might see a demon. The full video of us investigating Ginger at the haunted Malvern Manor will be out this Wednesday on the Paranormal Files, my YouTube channel. The link is in my bio.
Robert got some competition, bro. Robert versus Ginger. Who gonna win? Haunted dogs.
Psychology hacks you need to know. If someone is trying to make you decide something in a hurry, they're most likely giving you a bad deal, and you should just walk away. If a person is trying to intimidate you, stare at their forehead with a blank expression. This will psychologically make them self-conscious. Chewing gum when you're nervous really does help, because your brain thinks, I'm eating, so I must not be in danger. If you want to know if someone is interested in what you're saying, cross your arms. If they cross their arms too, this is called mirroring, and it actually means they're interested in the conversation. If you need to remember to do something tomorrow, just put something in your room out of place. The next day, you'll see this item out of place, and you'll remember why you put it there. Finally, if two people are arguing, stand in between them and eat something. It'll help alleviate the tension.
Really? I've seen that a couple of times before. I wonder why people did
Things
that.
almost no humans can do, apart from not shot, and if you can, then you're bloody weird. This is where you bend your thumb back onto your hand like that. Only 1% of humans can actually do this. Do you want this video if you can do it?
I can't. You guys try.
Humans were never meant to see. They strapped a camera on a shark, and look what it captured.
Hold on. Shark GoPro?
You can see the camera is attached. Now, as the shark goes deeper in the water, you won't believe the shocking sighting it caught. Wait for it.
What it saw?
Now look closely.
You guys see it? Oh, that's like look like a big hand. What the fuck?
Here it comes.
Oh, I thought we already saw it. What the fuck?
Is that a mermaid?
If kids' drawings were real, easily one of the most creepiest videos I think I've ever looked at. I mean, the one I think terrifies me the most. Just strange, distorted faces, man. Gosh, this is like nightmare fuel. And the cat.
It is. It's pure nightmare fuel, bro.
Maps that will change the way you see the world. This is how many lives of politicians were ended in Mexico just in the first half of 2024. Any country in blue on this map used to display people at zoos. This map shows air quality in Europe. Dark blue is the cleanest air, and red is the air that can cause problems. This map shows every nuclear power plant in the world, with green being operational, red being shut down, and blue being under construction. Any state in red is where a popular adult entertainment website has been banned as of July 1st. This map shows where all of the pirate attacks have been located in the 21st century, with red being the very hot areas. There are 1 billion people in each individual color on this map. This map shows the topography of Peru, and this map shows the topography of Germany. These are the hottest temperatures that have ever been recorded in every U.S. state. This map shows which gender has the highest BMI on average. The red countries are where more women have a higher BMI, and the blue countries are where more men have a higher BMI. And yellow is just equal.
I saw a lot of red, bro. And blue. Man, you gotta do better, bro.
Let's talk about some of the craziest true crime documentaries that are coming out in October.
Talk about
we're
it.
Gonna get some of the best of the year. The Menendez brothers are getting a documentary on Netflix where they're actually going to tell their own story. This is, of course, coming on the heels of the Netflix Ryan Murphy show about them, but in this one, they're actually interviewed. Also, I'm Kaylin, and I love giving recommendations if you want to follow along. And then 2 days later, we're actually getting a Scamanda documentary on Hulu. That's the story of how Amanda Riley scammed people out of hundreds of thousands of dollars by pretending to have cancer. It was originally a podcast, and so was Sweet Bobby, which is also getting a documentary this month. It follows one of the craziest catfishing stories I've ever heard, and you kind of just have to see it to believe it. And this one's kind of crazy, but there was a Chris Brown documentary kind of made in secret called A History of Violence. It's going to be on Hulu, and it was actually made by the people who made Quiet on Set earlier this year. And then in time for spooky season, Disney Plus is putting out Witches, The Truth Behind the Trials. It promises to tell a kind of unknown history about the witch trials starting back when they were taking place in Europe. And then the one I'm probably the most excited for is a Netflix doc called This Is the Zodiac Speaking. It's a 3-part docuseries that apparently really focuses in on one suspect in the Zodiac case. Which ones are you going to be watching this month?
The Brittany poster.
You guys gonna check that out?
I think it's safe to say this might be the best horror movie of this year. You literally have Art the Clown unaliving a Santa Claus with a chainsaw. He's then gonna wear his suit. Well, with the fact that Art the Clown is finally coming to a video game, he's going to be in Call of Duty in the next couple days. He's finally starting to get the recognition he deserves. With that, here's every theory in my own theory for Terrifier 3. Starting with my own, at some point Sienna's going to be going to the 9th Circle of Hell, aka the first spot Art the Clown took his victims in order to get immortality. She's going to go there and either sacrifice herself or someone else, or put something up as fodder in order to get Art the Clown off of Earth. Then I have a theory online speculating that the final girl from the first movie is going to be possessed by a demon and try to unalive Art the Clown with Sienna and her brother. Now that made sense to me for a while, until I took another look at the original photo that came out for this movie. She's with Art the Clown sitting on top of an unalived Santa Claus. Is Art the Clown the demon that's possessing her? I think that's a massive possibility. It's that strong. I've also been seeing theories online that this is young Sienna, and her first time seeing Art the Clown. She was over at a friend's house or at a sleepover during Christmas time. Art the Clown came in and unalived everybody's parents, and that's where his obsession with her started, hence the reason he's all about her. Me personally, I genuinely have no idea where this movie's going. All I know is it's going to be absolutely insane, and the first 5 minutes are going to shock everybody.
Maps that will change the way you see the world. This is a prediction of what the world is going to look like 250 million years from now. These are the CO2 emissions across the Indian subcontinent, with the lightest, whitest areas being the highest.
Damn.
This map shows all of the foreign military presence that is sitting in Africa right now. This map shows the most valuable Italian brands and where exactly they came from. If you draw a straight line between the northernmost point and southernmost point in the contiguous United States, along with the westernmost point to the easternmost point, the lines do not intersect. This map shows what the size of the Great Lakes would look like if it was in Europe. This map shows which state you could find the highest percentage of people with ancestry from every European country. This map shows where every popular sitcom took place. Every red dot on this map is a football pitch or a soccer field if you're from the United States. This map shows that in 1990, most of the United States had 15% or less obese adults in their state, where less than 30 years later, now almost every state has more than 25% obesity rates.
The deadliest game show I bet you've never heard of. The show was called The Chamber, and only 3 episodes aired before it was canceled. Why cancel it so soon? Well, they literally tortured the contestants. The game was rather simple. In the pre-game face-off, 2 contestants would go back and forth answering questions. The winner moved on to the main game. The loser was sent home packing. The main game is where you would enter into the chamber. You were offered a $500 buyout if you didn't want to go any further, but nobody took it. When you entered the chamber, you would be strapped into a chair and hooked up to electrodes, muscle contractors, and medical equipment. And then a computer would choose whether you got the hot chamber or the cold. Once the chamber was sealed, the game began, and your goal was simple. Answer as many questions as quickly as you can while surviving the environmental torture that was thrown at you. In the hot chamber, they could increase the temperature up to 170 degrees Fahrenheit.
Hell no.
Simulated earthquakes would also shake the chamber, going up to a 9.5 on the Richter scale. The more you progressed, the more the muscle contractors would activate. The chair would move back and forth, up and down, and rotate in complete circles. They would even drop the oxygen levels in the chamber, as well as blasting you in the face with winds up to 140 miles an hour. The cold chamber was equally as torturous, honestly if not worse. The temperature could drop to negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit. In the cold chamber, instead of rotating the chair, they would be sprayed with water jets, causing ice to form on the players. The game would end in a few different ways. If you answered 2 questions in a row wrong, you were out. If the medical team felt you were going to pass, you were also out. You could also yell "stop the chamber" to forfeit, which, surprise surprise, nobody did. A total of 6 episodes were made, and the 3 unaired episodes reportedly had an insect chamber, an electric shock chamber, and a water torture chamber.
No.
The most you could have won on the show was around $120,000.
What?
The most anybody ever actually won was $20,000. That person, Scott Brown, got through all 7 levels of the cold chamber and was actually hospitalized afterwards. He then sued Fox and won $100,000.